Uh, how's everyone doing?
Another day, another $1,000,000.
Yeah, I wish.
Damn.
I'm just
Hey,
assuming it's a joke.
I didn't say it was for me. I just said it was another $1,000,000.
For someone, yeah. All
My
right.
boss, maybe.
All right. So go ahead and start the stream. I gotta check something. My friend wanted to watch, but I gotta make sure it's actually working for them.
And just keep in mind, guys, I'm a complete neophyte at this. I've read the books, but have never played, so I'm eager to get started.
Yeah, the two of you, two of the three are new, as far as I know. So, um, and that's why I do one shots like this, and I do. I what one of the one shots I did was just a homebrew one shot, but then I was like, you know what, I should do it based at least partially based on a module, just because sometimes the modules take it into account that they're new players, and they put a lot more effort into making sure that everyone kind of has a role to play, so to speak. So I just took a module that I had listened to on YouTube by various different YouTubers playing it probably about a dozen times and just heavily modified it. Took out the extended task because God, I hate those things. Um, and yeah, other than that, it's yeah. The story has changed. So basically, if you play this and then you want to play the actual module with another GM, it won't really spoil anything. You'll have similar but different tasks and things like that. The only thing that's really stayed the same is the overall, rescue people from a planet kind of thing. Other than that, there's a lot of it that it won't really be spoiled for you if you want to do the original. Um, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Let's do introductions. Edgeford, you want to start with you and your character?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm currently going to be playing Tiber Dunn, and assuming that we're all sort of standing around on the bridge or something along those lines, Tiber Dunn is a slightly awkward-looking Aurelian. He's not the brilliant gold feathers that you might expect from his species, or as is often portrayed, but there is in fact a wide array of all the bird colours that you would normally have, and he's very much a sort of brown and white, slightly mottled creature. He is, however, very large, as is common for his species. He sort of looms over most 6-foot average humanoids, with his wings sort of awkwardly hunched over. And the reason why he looks a little awkward is his species appears, at least, to have evolved not to wear clothes. So uniforms and encumbering wings and so forth is all a bit of a it slightly stifles him, but he's nonetheless managing to do it quite well. He seems a bit more stooped over than you would normally expect, even from his species, and he often has a sort of a slightly glowering look about him, which is not entirely unexpected when set against the yellow stripe on his uniform, signifying his position in tactical, and the pips to lieutenant commander. And yes, that's the short version of Tiber done when you look at him.
All right, and Krajik.
All right, I'll be playing Strock. He comes from the planet Vulcan, but they kicked him out because he was out of his Vulcan mind. Uh, but he's a standard Vulcan, wearing the blues of the medical department, and has only a couple of pips on his collar. He's joined up with Starfleet and looking to try to do his best to help out with this small crew.
All right, and Lieutenant Ared. Ared Jelazani.
Sorry, I had my mute button on.
That's all good. It
No
happens.
problem there. So I'll sort of reset my mind here. Yeah, so Lieutenant Gelazani is relatively tall. Not as tall as Tiber, of course. Yeah, Tiber, of course, but he's about 6 feet tall, quite fit. No hair on his head. He is a Deltan, and standing confidently on the bridge and wearing command red.
Okay, so you don't want him at one of the helm consoles?
He could be, maybe. Let me look at his character sheet again, and I'll tell you if I want him at a console.
So just let you guys know, because there's only I have an NPC, but because there's only 4 at the moment, where there's plenty of room for people to sit if they want to.
All right, I take it we're in a Danube class.
Yes.
All right.
No, he'll be sort of standing as majestically as possible.
All right. I'm going to, even though Mac is not here right now, I'm going to put Mac's character up front by the co-pilot station. So basically, the oh, and just so you know, our everyone on our server that has been streaming and playing this game, um, we typically don't use video. We just use voice. However, if anyone wants to use video, that's fine. I personally want to get into using video just because it's more kind of cinematic for the viewers and stuff like that. But lately I haven't been because of just the mess that is the room that I'm in, and also just a whole bunch of other reasons. But eventually, when everything, when Discord and when everything gets more kind of stable and things like that, then I will probably be eventually doing that. But so as for your characters, are currently actually, who has made a bio? Let's see. Okay, yeah, So nobody has made a bio based on, or you made bios. Some of you made bios, but nobody has included like their current station, which is good because you are currently en route from Earth to a starbase where you will then be assigned a ship or perhaps a starbase to serve on. You don't know necessarily if you're going to be serving together. You guys have just met each other, maybe a few days ago when you left Earth. So it would be really realistic, for you guys to get to know each other if you didn't know each other, and things of that nature. But that's basically kind of your mission, is just in transit from Earth to a starbase so that you can be assigned to a ship, or a ship that is stationed there, or the starbase itself. Um, in character, you guys can decide if you want your characters to be assigned to that starbase or ship, but being this is a one shot, it probably won't make that much of a difference unless something happens in the future and we end up bringing these characters back, which has been known to happen. Um, so yeah, as of this point, does anyone have any questions or comments or concerns or anything like that? All right.
Yeah. One question. What's the square root of 14,768?
Um, that would be
Oh,
up to the Vulcan to figure out.
I'm sorry. You meant questions about the game. I
Right.
apologize.
Yes. I was like, why is the Vulcan asking me that? I don't know that. But all right. So you
All right.
guys are the runabout that you're currently on is the USS Pandora. And let's see. So tactical officer, go ahead and give me a reason security or
Okay.
reason science roll. This will be kind of a general perimeter scan. You guys are at warp, by the way, so you're typical warp 6, just cruising speed. But this will
Okay.
kind of give you an idea of anything and everything that could possibly be of interest to you guys on the runabout.
Will do. I'll just do the normal two. No need to spend momentum or generate threat.
All right.
I will, however, look. Carry on.
I was just gonna say I will roll for the ship. which will
Fantastic.
assist you.
But I will alert you, just in case it's relevant, that Tibor has the constantly watching talent, just in case it's relevant.
Yes, it is. So difficulty is normally 1, so it'll be reduced to 0. And for those
Huzzah!
for those of you who are new, I'll quickly explain how the task roll system is. So being a 2d20 system, you have two 20-sided dice that you roll normally. If someone is assisting, then like I'm assisting with the ship systems, then that will only roll 1 dice. You would roll, like I said, 2d20 dice. If you have a focus, you just click on focus used yes. And of course, if you had momentum, which you don't, then because you haven't generated it yet, you can use momentum to buy dice. Momentum is generated basically by having more successes than needed. So if it was a difficulty 1, then that means you would need 1 success. So if but because of his constantly watching talent, it reduces the difficulty to 0, which means he would have to roll a complication to fail. But even though he'll still notice it, there would just be some kind of complication. And of course,
having said that, watch me roll that complication.
Well, can I assist him?
Sure. What are you assisting him with? Security or science? Or comms?
It would probably be security.
Okay, so yeah, same roll, reason and security. So just click on reason, click on security, and then click on the 1 task roll, and then click on the comm badge that's right next to it. And if you have a focus like perception or sensors or anything that was related to, scanning your perimeter in the nearby area, then you can click on yes. And,
Okay, I do have the detail focused ability or focus.
Yeah, that would work.
Would that apply? Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is possible, but can I be giving some sort of inspiring rhetoric at them?
So there is a task that a command officer can do that can assist in this. There are actually 2. One of them is a rally, which is it's typically used for combat, but I would allow it to be used in this situation as well, where you roll presence command instead of what they're rolling. You still only roll 1 dice, but it will basically assist them in their in what they're doing. Or you could do direct, which is same thing. You roll the same thing, but narratively you would basically be giving them a direct or an order, basically saying, "Hey, do this." So either
No,
one of those.
I'm not very good at actually doing things. I'm just good at inspiring.
Sure. Roll presence and command, but only roll 1 dice. And it looks like everyone's rolling really well, except for Edgeford, who got that complication that he said he was going to get.
I told you.
So a complication is if you roll a 20 on a D20. I can increase the complication range with threat, or just if the situation calls for it, but I didn't have to. He got a 20. The good news is you guys have 4 momentum. So if you want to, you can spend 2 momentum to get rid of 1 complication. Do you guys want to do that?
I would recommend that, but I defer to the will of the group.
I'd say that'd probably be a good idea. From what I've been reading, complications are bad.
Yeah. So even if you succeed, like you're about to right now, even though you will succeed in like figuring out what's around you, there will be some kind of complication that will not make it so that you fail, but make it so that, like it says, it's a complication. So like, let's say there's a Klingon bird of prey out there, then the complication would be, you detect the Klingon bird of prey, but then it cloaks and then you no longer detect it. Something like that. Fortunately, there is no Klingon bird of prey out there. There is nothing out there whatsoever that would cause you to worry. You have 2 momentum. I will type it because we don't have actual chips. And I will say that Mr. And look at your name again. Tibor Dunn. As you're looking at your scanning console, you see a red light start to flash as a distress call is coming in.
Okay, Tibor Dunn will just declare to the not really bridge, half cockpit, that we have a distress call, and then we'll seek to listen to the distress call and sort of play it so as that the entire team can hear it.
Since I assisted, can I burn one of the edge to get more information about the ship that's placing the distress call?
Um, you'll be able to do that after the distress call is played. So
All
like
right.
if I give you the information as the GM, like such and such is calling a distress call, whatever, but then if afterwards you're like, oh, okay, well, we need to know, like, for example, maybe the inflection of the tone of the person speaking. I want to know what their species is. Are they Klingon? Are they Vulcan? Stuff like that. But yeah, so basically the distress call comes in. It's actually automated. It's in the voice of a ship's computer, like Majel Barrett, basically stating Science Lab Xerxes 4 is undergoing a catastrophe and requires immediate assistance. And yeah, basically it just keeps repeating. It tells you its coordinates, basically gives you the exact location you need to go, and it's on repeat. So do you want to spend a momentum to ask a question?
At this point, I don't think it would be all that beneficial since it is automated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But Tibor will, or Tiber will recommend to the team that we sort of broadcast the distress again. You get in contact with the people that we are supposed to be meeting, notify them of the distress call so everybody is aware of it and exactly where it's from, and then go to assist in line with the rules.
Of course, we must step in to give aid where it's needed.
One thing that Tiber... carry on, please.
I was just going to say, thank goodness I brought my Star Trek toilet paper. It circles Uranus looking for Klingons.
Tiber will give like a little bird chuckle. There's like half chirp, half chuckle at that, and then pretend he didn't. But one thing Tiber will do, and if nobody knows, he'll attempt to look it up on the computer, maybe both, is he will ask the team, does anyone here know what they do on Starbase? Was it Xerxes?
Well, that's not the starbase you're heading to. That's the one that you're being diverted to.
Well, yes.
But before you ask that question, what are the... I need, because you guys started talking and then the orders kind of got pushed to the back. I need to know what the commander's orders are for right now.
To render aid.
Okay, so I'm gonna need whoever's at helm, which turns out to be me, to roll. Let's see, a piloting check to get you guys in that general direction. Look at that. And I'll roll for the ship. Actually, Edge, do you want to roll for the ship?
Yeah, sure. What would be it?
Just engines con.
This engine's con. Okay.
Yeah. And since you did give that direction, if the commander wants to roll a presence command, just roll 1 dice instead of 2, then that would also assist. Probably get some.
And am I inspiring people here?
Well, that was more like
that's one of my focuses. So.
Oh, well then in that case, well, if you say it in an inspiring way in character, sure.
Come on, go Kirk on us.
It's always our duty to render aid, and I'm certain that who was at the AtCon?
It would be Petty Officer Biola.
And Biola, I'm sure that this is well within your skills, and you'll do an excellent job.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see. And did you roll for the ship?
I didn't. I was just going to ask, is it 1 dice or 2?
1. It's always 1 for assists.
Okay.
All right, so the difficulty is 1, so it gives 3, 4, 5 plus 2. So you guys are up to 7 momentum. Man, I'm making this too easy for you.
This is a pretty momentous event.
All right.
I'm sorry. Could
No,
I
go
check
ahead.
the computers for information about Xerxes 4 and any information about like the layout, what they do there?
Sure. So that is going to be a reason science or reason medicine, difficulty 1.
All right. Give me just one moment. Okay, I don't have a focus, which would apply here necessarily. Detail oriented doesn't sound like it would.
Mm, well, yeah, I would allow that because there's some details that you're gonna want to pay attention to. Although if you get a complication or fail, then you'll basically be aware that you missed something important.
Gotcha. All right. Well, here I go.
Ooh, does anyone want to assist?
Please.
My reason medicine is horrific. I
Or
might as well
science,
try.
or science, either one. I think
That's even more horrific.
my character's a pilot slash science, so
Mr. Strock, I hear you graduated top of your class. You're the best one for this job.
Ooh.
nice.
Thank you.
Oh, I just realized something. So this is my fault. I should have mentioned this. So the character who's the main roller has to succeed in order for everyone else to succeed. So if somebody else wants to make a medicine or science check with 2 dice, then we could say that those two Edgeford and my successes will go towards that one.
You don't want me to do any science or medicine. I'm sorry.
Well, it could be, let's see. What about you, not Struck, Teaver Dunn? What is your science in medicine? I remember you said it was bad, but
So his reason is 7, his science is 1, his medicine is 2.
yeah. It looks
Okay,
like
maybe you do want me to do science.
yeah, I think it goes as far as medicine and science. I think it goes Strock and then the commander and then Teaver Dunn. Like yeah. Well, mine's okay, but I rolled that nice too. I kind of want to keep that.
Does this science involve persuasion or evasive action by any chance?
No.
Evading the lies. There we go.
Hey Edge.
Evading my
Persuading people
role.
that I'm correct?
No. No.
I am equally a failure.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. It'll negate the 2 I just made, the amazing 2, but at least we could probably get something. My reason's 9, so it's not great, but my science is 4. So let's see. I guess I could. We do have 7 momentum. Do y'all want me to use a momentum to get an extra dice?
I think that would be wise.
Yeah, at this point, we'll pretty much need it.
All right, nice.
Hey!
The good news is we got 2 momentum, so we're up to 8 momentum now. So normally for most games, 6 momentum is the max, but I put it up to 8 because for some reason my players don't use it that often, and I want to encourage them to do that. So the good news is, as everyone's like struggling, looking over each other's shoulders, trying to access the Elkar's library, the petty officer at helm just like brings it up and looks over and says, "Looks like it's some kind of viral and genetics research lab."
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Nothing can go wrong there.
I'm going to give a cold glare to the petty officer.
I'm actually going to convert that "oh wonderful" out of character comment into an in character comment. Tifa just goes, "Oh wonderful."
I'll pop over to him and sort of clap him congratulatorily on the shoulder.
Since I have a focus in xenobiology, can I find more information about the viruses that it was investigating?
Sure. Do an insight, science, or medicine check. Difficulty 2. So you need 2 successes. So if you roll 2 dice, depending on what your stats are, the likelihood, the likelihood could not be in your favor. So if you you have full momentum. So if you want to spend momentum to get more dice, that's a good idea.
So that would be 2 momentum spent at once, one for the more information and one for the additional die.
Do you want to? So what are you just trying to do and obtain information?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
so
a really
the way it works is okay. So the petty officer rolled a really good roll, great, and got some basic information. So if you want to do something called obtain information, you can spend one momentum just to ask me, the GM, a question. So like, let's say you wanted to ask, you know, what is the list of viruses they're studying there, or something like that. It can't be like a super vague question. Like it can't just be, GM, be more specific about what they're studying. But you could basically ask me a specific question, and I have to give you an answer. Or you could roll a insight roll, which would basically mean like your character is perusing through all the data, trying to find out, like it would be a separate task. Like he's trying to find something out. So which one do you like, something specific? So which one are you thinking of?
I'm thinking at this point, because of the difficulty, it'd be better just to ask you a general question about which viruses are being investigated.
Okay, so you guys are down to 7 momentum. Do you have a specific question in mind, or you just want a general, like you just want to know which viruses?
Like whether it would affect all of us on board or which one of us.
Okay, so as far as the data is concerned in the Elcar's library, most of the viruses are like, animal viruses. They're not really. So, Birdman might be in trouble, but for the most part, they're not contagious to humanoids. There's only one virus, or there's only one thing that might be an issue, but even that is basically, it's called Ankaran flu. It's not deadly or anything. It's like getting the flu real bad, as far as symptoms go. So they are studying for a cure for Ankaran flu, but there doesn't seem to be anything in the system indicating like any kind of biogenic warfare or anything that's like major. As far as you could tell, it's just a standard research facility.
All right. So since they're investigating the flu, I'm like, it looks like they're doing some investigations into, what does this say, coronavirus 19?
Ah, yes, my roommate back at the academy, he had that and was in quarantine for weeks.
But Tiba will say, even if they are not examining deadly viruses, they may have made them deadly accidentally. That might be what caused the catastrophe. Might I recommend that whilst somebody attempts to see if there are any life signs, I at least replicate or take out of storage hazardous environment gear for the entire team, just in case.
I'm going to go ahead and try to scan for life signs.
All right.
It's a wonderful idea.
So the science petty officer who's acting as pilot looks over and says, "We'll be in orbit in 5 minutes." And so to scan, that's going to be a reason and science roll. The difficulty is going to be 3.
How do I set the difficulty? Is that the complication range or the
No,
challenge dice?
no. The difficulty is just the number of successes you need. So task roll is going to be how many dice you have starting out. So like if you
Gotcha.
wanted more dice, you have to spend momentum or give me threat, to buy more dice. So then you would change it to 3. Complication range is something completely different. In fact, I am going to spend 2 of my 6 threat to increase the complication range to 3. So now, even if you succeed, something will go wrong. If you roll an 18, 19, or 20. So normally complication is just 20, but now it's 18, 19, and 20.
All right. I do have the combat medic talent and the detail focused focus.
Okay.
So I don't know if that'll help any.
Yeah, for focus use, you could say yes. I don't think the medicals. I don't think this is really a combat medical situation, so I don't think it will
Gotcha.
help here.
Okay, I wasn't sure with life signs, but yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to burn a momentum to try to boost my die roll given the difficulty.
By all means.
And
Go
would
for it.
anyone like to assist?
Not Aurelian. Tiba is in the back with the suits, so he can't.
Okay. I can actually let me roll for the ship. I'm gonna roll. Actually, Edge, why don't you roll for the ship? I'm gonna roll for Biola. She.
Is it
Yeah,
reason
after that
science?
last roll, that would help.
And remember, complication range is 3, so everyone has to move their complication range to 3.
Yep.
No help
So would
for
that
Biola.
be sensor science again?
Yep. Or medicine.
Yeah, the science is better.
Whoa.
Oh my god! This is what I do.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some good news and some bad news. Difficulty's 3, so you got your momentum back up to 7. The good news is, though, is you have plenty of momentum to get rid of that complication if you want to spend 2 momentum to get rid of it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right. So you are doing your scan, Mr. Strzok, of the planet, which you are about 4 minutes away from at this point, and the first thing you detect is a massive ion storm that is kind of, I wouldn't say it's surrounding the planet, but it's very close to it. It looks like it's passing by very slowly. No doubt, this ion storm is going to be a major complication, so to speak, to any transport or sensors or impulse engines and things of that nature. Um, let's see. As far as life signs go, you detect a total of, let's see, a total of 9 life signs on the entire, as far as like humanoid life signs, and they are in a Starfleet or a Federation constructed kind of small science lab. It's like the size of a building. It's the only structure on this entire planet. And you do detect them. There are some of these humanoids roaming around this structure, this science lab, and of course you're detecting the various flora and fauna of the planet. Um, do you have do you have Studious as a talent by any chance?
I do not.
Okay. All right. So now with that information, what do you want to do?
All right, I'm going to inform the rest of the group of that. I'm going to be like, it appears that there are 9 life signs, but there is an ion storm that is probably causing a lot of this issue that they issued the emergency beacon for. I would recommend we take it very carefully going through this, as any impulse activity could definitely affect our approach.
Tiba,
Yes. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
walking in from the back with everybody's suits in between his arms, assuming he found some or replicated some. Tiba will say, "Yes, yes. Do we know how long it will take for the storm to pass at its current rate? And have we tried to hail them just in case they're just sitting by the automatic distress, but might actually answer if we call?"
I think we could definitely hail them and see what's going on, but a little ion storm never stopped anything. I'm sure I could get us through it.
Yeah, but if we do that, we're going to hail.
What I'm more concerned by with the ion storm is if we go in, and are unable to get out, it would be useful to have a time estimate of how long we'd have to hunker down before it passed.
I know I'm burning momentum like it's the 4th of July, but I'd like to go ahead and burn one more for more information about the ion storm and how fast it's passing.
Okay. What question do you want to ask? Or do you just want to have a general idea of, like, is it feasible to wait, essentially?
Well, that and how long the wait would be.
Okay. So it looks like this ion storm is going to be around for at least 12 hours. So as far as you don't really know the nature of the distress call, only that someone sent a distress call. You don't know what kind of trouble they're in. The number of life signs is one less than this base should have. That's
Okay.
your computer tells you that this science lab is staffed by 10 individuals. Two of them are security, one of them is an engineer, and the rest are scientists. And they're all Federation civilians except for the two security, which are Starfleet security officers. So one of them is either missing or deceased. So as far as I guess it's up to the commander to decide, can you wait 12 hours for this storm to pass, or do you want to go down and find out what's going on now?
On. Open a hailing frequency.
All right. Who has a good engineering score? That'd probably be the person who's not here. I think Mac was going to be the chief engineer. Let's see what I have.
I have a
My
2.
I have a 3.
Okay, yeah, I'll allow either security or engineering to open a hail. Control security or control engineering.
I'd probably be better at that.
Yeah, I'd definitely be better at control security than control engineering.
So
okay.
to make contact with anybody down there through the ion storm, it's going to be a difficulty 4, and the complication range is going to be a 3.
Well, I don't have any applicable foci or anything like that, so I'm more than happy to be the assist rather than the lead.
Okay, I'll roll for the ship.
Can I do something because I have a focus in computer interface design? Can I reorient someone's console to give them a better chance at this?
I feel like that would take longer than actually just making the call, to be honest.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to assist him if you want to make that roll for the hail.
Yep.
And you said the complication range is 3?
Mm-hmm. I'm running low on threat.
Good.
Well, there's one success.
So whoever the main roll is has to at least get 1, and then we need 1 more from that. Starship did not help, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did we decide who the primary was?
Whoever has a good engineering or security.
I thought you were going to take it. That's why I assisted.
Don't worry, it'll be roughly the same. So I'll take the lead. Hopefully this
All right.
will be fine.
Just don't get another complication. Oh, nice. So the good news is you have your 3. You just need 1 more. Was there another person that was going to roll? I can't remember.
Well, our captain could probably assist. How many people can assist on one roll?
So the actual rules say that it's the GM decides how many assists. Generally speaking, GMs make that decision based on what makes sense for the story. So if the commander wanted to give a direct order or rally, or maybe even be the one to actually speak into the communication when it is open, then I would allow him to roll a presence command with 1 dice.
I will be the one on the comm when the channel's open. You said it's a complication range of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go.
Ooh.
No.
So close.
Unfortunately, the ion storm is just too much interference. You can tell that your side is working perfectly fine, but there's something going on down there on the planet where it's just not getting to the actual transceivers.
Carry on.
Well, with not being able to contact them, with one of them potentially already dead, we better get in there.
We absolutely, sir, absolutely. Out of character question. Since we know the standard crew complement of 10, do we know the standard material assignment? Crucially, what I'm wondering is if we know, should they have their own shuttle or runabout? Because if yes, why can't they leave? But if no, then that's why.
Well, that is a good question. As far as what you guys have determined, just based on looking it up in the library and making your scans, unless you could spend a moment and ask that question, but it doesn't give you any direct information.
Okay, I'm inclined to save momentum, but yeah.
I was just going to ask, can we? Does it have a docking port for our shuttle?
Or is it on the ground?
Well, the science lab itself is like on the edge of like a bluff on a mountain, so it's not like orbiting or anything like that. You can't your sensors aren't really penetrating too much through the ion storm to get any like real detailed information.
Gotcha. Is it possible to modulate the impulse engines to try to better fly through the ion storm?
Yeah, that would be an engineering. It's all right, Mac. Hey, Mac, do you want to do that for us? Good timing. Uh,
Okay.
so I don't know if your character sheet's up or not, but if not, you could just roll some random dice. Either way, that would be a control engineering. And you said to be able to land, correct? Like through the ion storm.
Well, to at least have better luck with impulse power.
Okay. So that'll be a control engineering difficulty 3. I'm not going to increase the complication range because I only have 2 threat left and I don't want to waste it. So yeah, control engineer and Max, just let me know when you roll that. And if someone has a decent engineering score, if they want to assist, I will roll for the ship. My engineering score is not great.
Mine's not great, but it is okay. I will assist.
Okay.
And you said complication 3?
No, it's staying at 1. I don't want to waste my
Okay. Yeah.
threat. All right, so you just need the chief engineer to make a good roll. I think I said difficulty 3,
I got
right?
a,
What was that, Matt?
I got a 2.
All right, so that's a total of 3, so you got it. Yep, it's still rough with turbulence and all that, but you pretty much can land wherever you within a general idea. See, the problem with this planet right now is as far as when you looked up what Xerxes 4, science lab was, is essentially this is just a really tiny group of people studying a really large planet of basically jungle and ocean. So you're gonna have to do some good flying to find some flat land to settle down on anywhere near the science lab because it's pretty much surrounded by mountains and jungle and water. So you're able to pilot through the ion storm roughly, but it's still going to be a doozy to actually land.
Mr. Dunn, do you need me to take over the con?
Mr. Who?
Oh, I don't know.
yeah.
Who is it that's at? Well, no, it's not Tibor
It's
that's at the con. He's security. That's right.
Mac, what is your con at?
It's at a 3.
Okay, and mine is if I can find my character. Oh yeah. Come on. Oh man, my I think mine's a 3 too. Um,
I am a more experienced pilot than anyone on the ship, apparently. There is something I can do other than give orders.
All right. Yeah, if you want to take over, it'll be a better shot at actually landing without, crashing or blowing up. That'd be fine. I'll roll for the ship. It'll be a control con instead of control engineering. It'll be a control con. The difficulty is going to be 3.
I'm going to buy an extra dice with momentum if that's okay with everyone.
Oh, yes.
That works, and I'd like to assist as well.
All right. How are you assisting? How is Strzok assisting?
I'm the one that modulated the engine, so I'm
Okay.
kind of guiding using that.
All right. So in your case, it would be control engineering same difficulty, but you only roll 1 dice.
Gotcha.
Ooh, complication. All right. I still need to roll for the ship. What'd I say? Something con.
Control, I believe.
All right. I said difficulty 3. I think I did.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my basic. All right. So you still have 3 momentum. So if you want to get rid of that complication, you can.
I will, but I also have to roll a thing. I have untapped potential.
Okay.
So I spent momentum, so I have to do the roll to see if I earn us momentum or give you threat.
Hold on. Aren't you an XO? Like, isn't your character an XO?
I am a junior lieutenant, but yes, I am the XO. Don't know how that works.
It's probably because whenever you were doing your career, you went young officer, and that gave you untapped potential and made it so that you could not be above lieutenant junior grade when you picked your
Yes.
ranks.
I
So,
did. I did like random for that one and
oh,
got.
okay. Yeah. Most things is great randomized, but that's the one thing where it kind of messes things up a bit. So if you, there's a couple ways we could do it. We could just say your character is the EXO of like a runabout, essentially, like a really small ship with like only a dozen people or so. And maybe your character kind of just graduated from command school and has been kind of given like this
I kind of
responsibility.
think that's what it is. I just graduated from command school. I'm the only command level officer
Mhm.
on this runabout,
Yeah.
so I'm in command. But everyone else, I think, except the petty officer, outranks me.
Well, no, the petty officer doesn't outrank you. Petty it may have more experience, but definitely doesn't outrank
No,
you.
I mean everyone else. I think, except the petty officer, technically outranks
Oh,
me.
oh yeah, I didn't even look. Let me check Strzok's rank. I think he's
I'm the same grade,
lieutenant.
junior.
Tiber is a lieutenant commander. Yeah, so that's a interesting rank structure we got here. Either way, yeah, you basically we could also say that this is kind of like a little bit more training for your character. Like you graduated command school, but now they on the way to the starbase to be assigned your new ship. They want you to kind of be in command, and they probably let Tibor Dunn, the lieutenant commander, know like, hey, he's going to be in charge. We know you outrank him, but he is a command level
Yeah, he
officer.
has the mission.
Yeah, he's in charge of the mission. You just take care of security.
Yep, yep.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and roll your untapped potential.
How do I roll an effect die
All right, so
just on its own?
you see where it says challenge dice on dice roller, where you would normally roll your dice on your character sheet. It's got task
Yes.
roll, and then under
Okay.
that
Yep.
challenged. Just type a 1 and then hit enter. Um, you got to roll. You got to hit enter, otherwise it won't register.
Oh, okay. I see.
And then click on the thing, and then it should be good. All right, and you got an effect. So
That is not good.
oh, what does it mean? It's been a while since I've looked at that talent.
So you got a threat.
Oh, okay, nice. Because I need it. I'm up to 3 again. All right. So you guys are coming in hot. Essentially, it looks like your Bussard collector's about to blow out, but then Strzok kind of does some engineering magic to fix it, and then you guys end up landing kind of in a general. Well, actually, before that happens, you guys are flying in and about to land. You're probably like you can see the landing, quote unquote landing strip. Like the field that you guys want to land is really close to this outcropping where this science lab is. But then all of a sudden, something happens. One of the life signs
Ooh.
that Strzok you're monitoring that's
Yeah.
humanoid suddenly is no longer humanoid. It becomes essentially the sensors register it as an unknown and much larger life form from that's coming up at you from the planet. So now we're going to need whoever's sitting at the pilot seat to make a daring con. I think the command.
This is much better. This is I'm there, and not only that, but I'm also trained in evasive maneuvers.
Awesome.
Well done.
That's good. All right, so yeah, it's gonna be daring con, and the difficulty. As I will go ahead and tell you that it looks like that this creature is attempting to swallow you. So the difficulty is going to be 3 again. I'm going to spend 1 to increase the complication range. So put it up to 2. And whoever, Mac, if you want to be the co-pilot there and roll a daring con with 1 dice, I'll roll
I
for the
don't
ship.
want us to get eaten, so I want to use that last momentum to buy 1
I would
extra
highly
die.
recommend it. Yes.
Okay, and what did you do with your threat? Sorry, was that to add the complication range?
It increased it by 1, so it should be complication range of
Okay.
2. Oh, nice. All right.
Nice.
What about the co-pilot? Oh, the
This is
co-pilot.
what I do.
So it's, let's see. Difficulty was 3, so it's 1, 2. So 2 momentum added to yeah, just 2 momentum because you used the last one. So 2 momentum. Nice. So yep, you swoop past it, and you can clear. No, I wouldn't say clearly see, but you actually. Who's at science right now? That'd probably be the CMO, right?
Yeah, most likely. I'm while I'm here, I'm going to try to scan it
Yep,
to get
that's what
some
I was gonna
details.
say.
Yeah, Lieutenant Strzok, what is that thing?
Reason science difficulty 2. I will roll for the ship sensors.
And due to my detail focus, would that help out with that, or xenobiology?
Yeah, definitely xenobiology. Because it's an alien monster.
Okay, one success.
Does anyone want to make another science roll to help him out?
Well, I don't think I'd be particularly much use for that. And what Tiber is keeping an eye out for is, does it look as though we are going to be reliably now outpacing it after the ambush? It's not closing. If it's closing, he has things he wishes to do. So his mind is very much on that, not on the analyzing it.
Understood. I just had to reload my roll 20 because it would not let me open my character sheet. All right. Let me roll 1 dice and hopefully it gets 1. Yep, there we go. All right. Oh, and Mac rolled 2. Mac, don't forget when you're assisting, you can roll 1 dice. So,
Okay.
yeah, you've only been doing this 5 years. Sorry, I'm scrolling up to look at other rolls. So Strout got the 1. The difficulty was 2. So plus 1 momentum. So you're at 3 momentum. You are detecting without a shadow of a doubt. Actually, let me flip through my notes here. The DNA of multiple species, including Xindi reptilian, Gorn, and human.
Good gravy.
Well, it
I
was
take
the
it this
genetics
was.
research lab.
Yeah, they've been dabbling in some questionable stuff.
Now,
It's, it,
as for Tiber Dunn, as for your tactical situation, almost as soon as you guys pass it and start heading towards the planet, it's off your sensors, and there is when you look out the window, you don't see it anymore.
how far are we off of the ground?
I'm not very good with meters, but I would say probably about 500 feet or so.
Okay,
All
so
right,
that
so that'd
jump.
be about 150 meters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so not too high, but like you're not in space anymore.
but that means this wasn't something that was on the ground and jumped. This thing flew.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so it could. So okay,
Well, it's
Tiber
also
is
really
very-
large, so jumping and flying could be the same thing to this thing. You didn't happen to notice any wings, though. I'll say that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, Tiber will mutter something under his breath about viral research, my tail feathers. But will otherwise keep a very close eye on what's going on. Now, I'm guessing that the runabout's limited phaser capacity is still ship to ship by default, so it would probably cut through organic matter like it was nothing.
Depends what that organic matter is.
That's true. That's true.
I will say that
Tiber,
the scans of this Gorn hybrid creature indicates that its scales are extremely thick and hard.
Okay. What Tiber will do, and he might actually ask for some assistance from the team as a whole, is he'll make a suggestion to the commander of the mission and say, "Sir, that thing may come for us again, or something similar. Permission to put phasers on standby and fire should I see it again. However, I am conscious that this is just an animal, not a sapient creature coming for us. So to kill it would perhaps be an overreaction. There may be assistance that can be given in rigging our phasers to do enough damage to put it down, but not kill it."
Captain?
I was on mute again.
Yeah.
Do we know that it's not intelligent, Mr. Strock? Did your scans turn up anything of that nature?
I did detect human and Vindi DNA in there, so I'm thinking that it may be a sentient life form. I cannot say definitively at this point.
Well, then I think we are bound, if possible, to try to make contact with this.
I would recommend a heavy stun setting instead of a lethal setting.
Question
Does
for
our
the
ship
GM.
have a stun setting?
I was about to say, yeah, question for the GM. Laura's inconsistent on this point.
What is a stun setting for a giant dinosaur? Or as I call it, a cornosaur.
Mr. Strock, what level of setting for the ship's phasers would stun such a creature?
No, given my knowledge of the phaser and such, can I try to figure out whether the ship's phaser bank can be set to stun? And if so, what level I would need to set it at?
Insight security or engineering, either one of those two, security or engineering. With insight.
All right.
Permission to assist?
Sure.
Okay, and I will cite my. I do apologize. I'll cite my shipboard tactical focus.
It'll be a difficulty one, so not too difficult.
Yeah, and my focus on xenobiology as well.
Oh yeah, that'll help. Ooh,
wow.
Mind.
Oh!
Wow.
So, I don't know diddly.
Y'all were just like, it's a big monster. Shoot it. Shoot it and run.
Can I try engineering if they're...
Yeah. Insight engineering difficulty 1. Whoa!
Thank you.
All right. So normally, and because you got so many, I'm actually only going to give you 2 momentum for that, but I'm gonna give you some extra information for not for free because I'm taking a momentum for it. But you're gonna want this information. So that's 5 momentum. So normally, if this was just a normal reptilian creature that had really thick scales, you would be able to easily modify with a couple of button pushes the phaser emitter output. However, as you're as your character, which I need to remember the name, Timur, as Timur is kind of looking over the sensor data that Strock has kindly gathered for you guys, as the lieutenant pilot is landing the vessel, you discover that there is anti-nadion particles running through this creature's scales, which would essentially make any kind of phasers pointless. It's basically immune to all phaser fire.
Interesting. And I'm guessing a tiny wee runabout doesn't have torpedo capacity.
Well, the Danube class does have photon torpedoes.
It does.
Okay, that may be overkill, but we'll keep that in the back.
Take this antimatter down your throat. Ooh, boom. Killed someone's father today.
Mr. Strock, what do you know about, if anything, from your scans about the social habits of this creature?
Well, I don't know. This is the first encounter I've ever had with a creature of this type, especially with this wide range of DNA. But I could hazard a guess. Does it have? Well,
I might have to spend momentum to get this answer. But it's important if we are going to try to solve this non-violently. So I'll spend momentum to ask if from the scans we know if it has the ability to receive pheromonal signals.
You mean, can it smell?
Yeah.
Yes, it can smell.
Hey. Well, there's an option.
So we already rolled for the landing. That was my fault. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that you guys are on your descent approach as you're having this kind of discussion / scanning moment going on. and move you guys
Okay.
to that page. So as you can see to the right, at the top of that little outcropping is where
Mhm.
the lab is, and if you scroll down, you guys are right here in this tiny little clearing.
Okay, everyone. If we see the creature again, I'm going to try to convince it not to eat us.
Strock could do a mind
Tiber,
meld with it, like Spock did with a whale.
I don't have that talent.
Oh,
Tiber
took
is.
the
Carry on.
I took the Kolinar talent, not the mind meld talent.
Tiber is thinking, but not saying. It was nice knowing you. But no, he'll climb into his hazardous materials and hazardous suit just in case whatever nasty viral stuff they're doing has gotten into the atmosphere.
Given my backup plan, I can't. So I'm going out in just my uniform.
wait, Tibur Dunn, how do you get into a frickin' EVA suit or
Well,
hazmat suit?
see, this is why I sort of brought up the incredibly awkward clothing. Do Starfleet even make something that's capable for this? I imagine this would be a problem, but one their engineers would think their way around. I don't know.
Honestly, for Tibur Dunn and other, like, I feel like for species that are radically different than normal humanoids, like, the Gorn and Aurelians and even Caitians to an extent, like they would have kind of like an idea of their level of immunity to various viruses and things of that nature. So as far as, and like I said before, as far as you guys are concerned, normally nothing on this planet should be like harmful to you, except you just met a Gornosaur. So essentially you should be able to get. I mean, if you could get Worf into a suit, I'm pretty sure all you have to do is like tuck in your wings a little bit, and you should be able to get into an extra large suit. Or you could just get one of those masks and place it over your. But then you have a beak, so I don't know how that would work. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
you could also replicate it.
Well, this is why I said that replicate or get out. So I attempt to replicate something that would give him normal freedom of movement. Because I am imagining that once they started accepting various species into Starfleet, that they ensured that they had equipment designed for those particular species. But I may be wrong.
Yeah,
I think they should.
yeah, and I talked about this with someone a while ago regarding Trill and what was that species the lady on DS9 who could only walk in anti-gravity or something like that, but like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the heavy gravity world.
So in my mind, Starfleet would make all practical applications for people like that, but like when someone can spread their wings and fly, I don't anything that you put around the wings is going to prevent you from flying, because the wings are specifically designed a certain way to be able to fly. So if you put something around it, it wouldn't be able to do what it's naturally supposed to do.
Here's a way around the problem, perhaps, which is that we can ask the computer to analyze if the environment would be safe for Tiber, based on the fact that it has now landed and can presumably take accurate readings.
Does he do that specifically, or does he ask science? Like how do you want to?
Yeah, Tiber will turn to I believe it was
probably me.
Strock, yeah.
And say, Strock, can you just do a little scan to make sure that there's nothing nasty in the atmosphere? I'm aware that some of the things in the lab might have a bit more of an effect on me than it would on most.
All right. Then what would that be? What kind of roll?
That is going to be a Reason Medicine, difficulty 5, complication range of 3. I'm using all the rest of momentum on that. Yep.
Do you guys mind if I burn a momentum for a little bit of assist?
By all means.
I mean, I would spend more than one momentum on that.
I think spending 2 momentum. Did you say it was?
Yeah, let me explain the momentum thing real quick. So for the new players, most GMs and even the book says that spending momentum to gain dice is an accumulative thing. So like, for example, if you want 2 dice, instead of just spending 2 momentum, you have to spend 3. And if you want three extra dice, then you have to spend like five or something like that. Where I just do it one for one because I don't feel like doing all that math. So if you wanted two extra dice to get four dice, then you would just have to spend the two momentum out of the four that you guys have. So it's up to you how you want to do it. You can also give me threat. Giving me threat will do the same thing as momentum. So you can give me as much threat as you feel like giving me, and I will be happy. And then you can have all your dice.
That sounds way too threatening. I'm gonna just. But I will go ahead and burn the two for additional dice, and I do have the xenobiology talent as well as detail focused. If either of those would work.
Yeah, I'd say detail focus since you're focusing on specifically the environmental, viral or genetic environmental factors.
Well, here we go.
Does anyone want to? Sorry, go ahead, Mac.
Eesh.
I said, can I assist?
Yeah, go ahead. It's going to be reason or medicine, and it's going to be medicine or science. Sorry. All right, so we have two. I'm going to roll for the ship. If anyone else wants to roll a reason or a medicine roll, feel free. I think I said it was three.
My,
Oof. Does anyone else have a decent
my,
science or? Oh, actually, I can roll for my NPC. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
my insight and my reason are the same. They're both 10s.
All right, that gives us a success, but we've got a complication.
Four. Well, I said difficulty was 5, so 1, 2,
Oh, 5.
3, 4.
Oh, we need one more.
Yeah. So
I may as well. The worst I can possibly do is throw in a
I
complication.
tell you what, T-Bird Dunn. For your character, I feel like this is more of a security situation because you, as far as you guys can tell, could potentially be someone weaponizing biogenic weapons or viruses. So I will allow a reasoned security roll for your character specifically.
Will do. None of that's going to be relevant. Oh.
Remember?
No.
Okay. So do you want to spend the last two momentum to get rid of that complication?
Well, we'd still fail, so
Yeah.
at this point, I don't think it would matter.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, instead of actually making it a complication for this scene, I'm going to take it as threat, since I don't have it.
Excellent.
All right, so yeah, as far as your sensors are, I can tell you everything outside of this runabout is normal atmosphere, M-class planet. It's detecting normal, the rainforest that is surrounding you, and also the fungi and the bacteria, everything like that is normal at normal levels around you. So that's as far as you could tell. Everything's fine.
Mr. Tibor, everything looks fine, and I think we might, if we get put upon by that creature, have need of your extra mobility. Put that suit away.
Okay, he'll put away the suit, which is also what he would have done if we just went, we don't know. He'd
So,
put away the suit.
Struck, as you're looking at your science console, you do happen to see that two of those humanoid life signs is moving towards you from the rainforest.
And they are indeed humanoid, not this creature type.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to try to reconfigure my tricorder for tremor sense on the ground because I have a feeling that the creature went underground, and I'd like to know if it's getting close.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
And these two individuals are moving closer to you. They are standing at the tree line, just staring at your shuttle. This one is holding a Type 1 phaser. Your sensors are easily able to detect that. The other one is unarmed. Any questions, or is there anything that you want to do?
T-Bird will just grab one of the masks and pocket it. He won't do anything else. And he'll be ready to go outside when ordered and talk to or defend against these people, but this is very much the CO's call on what to do with them.
So, is there external speakers on the runabout?
I mean, I'm assuming there are. If you want to use those.
Stand down. We're here to render aid.
Can I
Please identify
lace?
yourself.
Can I lace the speaker system with some molybdenum?
Some what?
Molybdenum. I was thinking about giving them some heavy metal.
Oh, I was like, what the hell is that? um, sure.
No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
The psychological warfare of
Right.
World War
Yeah.
of the Vietnam War.
Mm.
Sorry.
We're being friendly for the moment, but yes.
And command officer. I kept calling you commander. I don't want to call you that anymore because you're a lieutenant. But what was you were asking them? What were you asking them again?
To stand down, and I let them know that we are here to render aid.
Okay. When you say that, and I'm assuming that the people in the con are staring out the window. So when you say that, and they are like, this is not to scale. They are actually quite far away, so to where like they look like stick figures to you. But when you say that, you can tell that there's something begins to grow from this individual's head. Um, it
Oh, it's
looks
more of their viral research. Okay.
so yeah, it just looks like two twigs from where you're sitting because you're so far away, and you see this guy. He kind of cocks his head to the side and stares at you, but they don't really respond in any way besides that.
Uh, Tiber, what's your tactical analysis of this situation?
I would imagine that these people may have been altered. It seems as though the large creature that attacked us before, that had human and Zindi and other bits and bobs, I suspect that some of the. Where would they get that much human material? I think something may have happened to the whole of the base here, and they may only have a shell, as it were, of their former selves. Their internal makeup may be radically different to the point where they don't respond in a sapient fashion. Or
Tiber, I need you to make
yes,
a control medicine check.
that's absolutely
Difficulty
fine.
is 2 because they got a 2, so you need to get a 2 or better.
2 or better. We've got only 2 momentum. I don't think it's worth spending 1 for this.
I would assist, but I'm probably preoccupied with the tricorder, setting it up for the tremor sense.
Yeah, I don't think this is something that anyone can really
Yeah,
assist with.
Gotcha.
and and none of my
This is
foci of
essentially
science are applicable.
a
Here we go.
constitution check.
Just the one.
So as you're giving your report, you begin twitching, and your feather starts to twitch. Not your feather. Your one of your wings begins to twitch like it's trying to take off, but then it stops after a few seconds.
He will
Are
immediately.
you okay?
I
You're twitching.
don't know. He'll immediately ask, computer, please confirm that the atmospheric seals on this runabout are still intact.
The computer will say atmospheric shields or atmospheric seals are intact.
Out of character, that means that it's not some sort of airborne contaminant or something, because they couldn't have gotten in yet. It's something else.
Whoever's
I'm
sitting at the
thinking
pilot, I need whoever's sitting at the pilot seat to make a perception check. So that's going to be insight, security, difficulty, 1, and that I think
Well,
that's Mac.
I don't think
and
I've left the
I don't think so
helm.
either. Yeah, it's you. It's you and Mac most likely.
Okay, so I will. I'll do this.
My character hasn't left.
Okay, insight, security. Ooh, nice. So you guys are up to, let's see, where is it? 3 momentum. With inhuman speed, strangely enough, the creature on the left leaps up probably 3 times its height into one of the trees and then disappears into the foliage.
I'm thinking they're using psychotic powers.
Psychotic powers?
Psychotic? Yeah.
What the?
Psychic?
Yeah. Psychic. That's what I meant. Psychic.
They're crazy, damn it!
Well, Tiber will like get his right arm and like pin his left wing down until it stops twitching, and then say, "I might be making them psychotic."
And then this creature begins walking towards you.
It seems they want to talk to us. Maybe.
I would recommend still having caution, even if we do go to negotiate.
Valor is the better part of caution. And I'll sort of get up to sort of head towards the door to the shuttle.
Can I make a quick scan and try to identify the culture of the two creatures, the one in the trees and the one approaching us?
Sure. Reason, science, or medicine. Difficulty is going to be 2.
2 successes.
Your tricorder scan, or the scan of the computer, either one, tells you that the creature walking towards you is a 50-50 hybrid of Vulcan and Cardassian. However, its genetic makeup, its cells, its DNA seem to be more. I don't know how to really describe it, but they seem to be not in a normal state of a Vulcan Cardassian. They seem to be metabolizing more quickly. They seem to the neural patterns in his brain seem to be 100% more active. This seems to be whatever genetic research they were doing here. It seems they have succeeded with whatever this creature is.
A question that may be beyond the knowledge in that role: is this the kind of, at least physically, the result that you would normally get from a Cardassian Vulcan cross, as it were?
I'm assuming at this point there has been something like that, and based on the neural energy and the cells and the DNA that this tricorder or the ship's sensors is picking up, this is something a lot different than what would normally happen if you had a Cardassian Vulcan baby, essentially.
Mr. Strock, if this is unnatural, am I correct that genetic experimentation on sentient beings is still against Federation law?
You are correct. This creature is obviously some kind of new creation. It doesn't even line up with the standard DNA that would be expected on this. I'm thinking there are probably third-party DNAs thrown in.
Either way, it's... Carry on.
No, go ahead.
So, either way, it's getting closer, and these things have demonstrated an uncanny ability for physical strength. I don't want to risk it damaging the runabout. If we're going to talk to it, we should talk to it now before it gets here.
Yeah, I'll go out of the ship then.
Tibor will accompany the CO.
All right.
I have my Type 1 phaser, but no environmental suit.
Are you guys able to move your tokens or no?
Yar.
From your character sheet?
You can just click on the... okay.
That person doesn't look... It was Timor. I was like, huh? So who's going outside? Is it all 3 of you? Or 4, 2, 3 out of the 4? Alright, what's her name?
I'm going to remain at the console and look at the sensors of the tremor sense.
Okay. You are as you're looking at that, it's you're detecting normal tectonic movement from the planet, but nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm also trying to be as precise as possible, so I might be able to view the any actions like from the tree line or from the creature. Because if he's that strong, I have a feeling that he might be able to make small tremors when he walks.
Roll another reason science, difficulty 1.
If all else fails, just get a cup of water and put it on the dash.
I'll roll for the ship, since it's...
And would my cultures, xenobiology or detail focused apply?
No, this is more about the geology and the tectonics of the planet.
Gotcha.
Alright, I said difficulty 1. Yeah, so you guys are up to 4 momentum. So it is physically impossible for that creature to be on the planet or under the planet's crust and there not be any major seismic activity, but you're not discovering it, which could lead to only a couple of conclusions. Either it's flying around in the air somewhere, or it's in space, or it's a different size, or it's something else entirely. So as far
Or
as you
it's
could tell,
or it's standing still.
but you didn't detect anything before you landed either. You would have
True.
detected a major. I'm not gonna say like a level 5 or whatever quake, but you would have detected something, and you didn't detect anything.
Okay.
So yeah, as you guys are coming out, let me get the Delton to do an insight command difficulty 3 on this Vulcan Cardassian, which both species are known to have regimented minds that are able to block out empathy and telepathy.
That's okay. I'm not empathic, anyways.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, I assumed because you were Deltan, you were. I made an
No,
assumption.
I just have the pheromones,
Oh, that's right. Okay, that'll be
which
interesting too.
which are I don't turn them on or off. They're an automatic thing.
Right.
That's why I'm not wearing an enviro suit.
Okay, and and like I said earlier, the only people that it will not matter to is the player characters. But let me
Yes.
roll for this hybrid guy. What do I have to roll to basically?
So how it works is I have to look at this again. I was just looking at it. I can re-roll a d20 on a presence test where I'm trying to persuade them to do something.
Okay,
Or
so-
I gain an extra d20. Sorry.
Okay, so it basically, if there's, it's after the interaction starts, so it's not like you're walking up to him and I have to roll to counteract it. Basically, it's after you actually start to interact with them. Which
Yeah, provided they are biologically compatible enough with me that my pheromones would affect them. It works.
Okay, so I'll give for that one roll that you just made for Insight Command. I'll go ahead and tell you that you aren't just based on looking at his facial features and his expression. You don't detect any emotion. You don't. It's like a robot is walking towards you. But he also doesn't seem to be stopping. He's probably like 40 feet away at this point, and his phaser is still by his side in his hand. Yeah, he's just walking towards you. His eyes kind of a greenish, almost glistening as he walks towards you, and he doesn't seem to be stopping or.
So I'll hold up my hands in sort of a peaceful gesture. Greetings. I'm Lieutenant Gelazolani of the USS Pandora. We're here to render aid. Do you understand me? If so, how can we help you?
I need you to roll a control medicine difficulty 2.
Interesting. We'll see how this goes.
So at the tail end of that sentence, your mouth just kind of hangs limp as you realize you have no more control over your mouth or your speaking. Your vocal cords have seemed to kind of seize up.
I will turn to Tibor and gesture at my mouth that I can't talk.
Okay, Tiba is going to sort of nod his understanding with his recent experience with his own wing. Try to step in, even though this isn't his best area. Step protectively in front of the lieutenant, and will then, less diplomatically, a little bit more forcefully, attempt to order the approaching creature to stop. Just one arm up, halt, and see if he complies.
I need you to make another control medicine roll, difficulty 3.
Okay,
And yeah, he's not complying.
that's what I was expecting. Difficulty 3. None of my themey jogs are going to be appropriate. How much momentum have we got? 4?
4.
I'll use one of those to roll 3 dice.
Okay.
And then here we go. Ha!
Nice.
Worth it!
So in your brain, for some reason, you think, I want to fly away right now. and your wings start to like puff out like they're ready to take you, but then you lower them and like take control of your mind again, and you realize that this creature is accessing your nervous system and is eventually going to be able to use you like a puppet.
How far away is it at this point?
Probably like 20 feet. Like, he's not far away at all.
Okay. Does he look like he's in any way reacted to what we're saying? Like he understands the things that we're saying, or is he just completely blank?
Visually, there's no way to tell.
Is there any chance I could use the ship's sensors to detect any kind of psychic ability, given like our knowledge of Beta Z and stuff like that?
So you basically want to scan him to see if he has like any kind of Beta Z or telepathic DNA. I mean, you know he's Vulcan, part Vulcan, so you know he does have telepathic, abilities.
Well, more like some kind of a way to counter it, some kind of a field or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Do a reason medicine. I'll say difficulty 3, because it is kind of an obscure knowledge. Not obscure like no one would ever hear of it, but something that wouldn't necessarily be on a runabout computer base.
Could I use psychology or cultures to help with that?
Yeah, either one of those would work.
All right, and guys, I think I'm going to have to burn another die.
By all means, that would leave us with 2, I believe.
Correct.
I'll roll for the ship. Maybe it'll get you another one. New sensors.
Yes!
Yep. So, I mean, your computer gives you the traditional spiel about, like Ferengi are immune to stuff like this. There are also machines, like technology that you could create to kind of make a field around you to make it so that no one can read your mind or manipulate your nervous system. It gives you the necessary information, but implementing it, especially in the time that you guys have, is probably a bit more unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. Do I detect any way to like fight it? Can I help with their ability to resist?
You could potentially, and I'm just using complete technobabble here, but you could potentially use the ship's deflector array to send out an ionized tetryon pulse that might temporarily negate the effects of the nervous system manipulation, but long term, not anything that you could do. I mean, if you could, every starship would just have a field around it that would basically prevent people from reading minds. But yeah, so you could temporarily do something, but it would be a big undertaking.
Well, basically, what I'm going to try to do is when I detect him activating the abilities, because I did that scan earlier, I'm going to try to send a low wave pulse out at that time to help counter it.
Okay. Makes sense. And as you're kind of doing this, and when he's only like 10 feet away, you hear on the roof of the runabout a light thump as Timor, you look over and notice this Andorian looking figure has just landed. Now there are small trees around you guys where he could have descended from, but unless his agility and strength is as maximum as they could possibly be, there would be no way for him to land there without him coming from afar, a great distance essentially. But you do happen to look up and see him there, and he's kind of crouched with his purplish skin. His antenna on his head are about 3 feet high now, and they're looking directly down at Timor. And I say looking because you see eyes at the end of them.
That is not normal for an Andorian.
No, it is not.
I'm thinking this is a highly attractive individual because they say beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
good one.
My word. Okay, out of character, I'm guessing we are now going to be dealing with this as a hostile situation. We are. So what Tiber? Oh, you first, please.
basically my character taps his comm badge and says, he's the other one's on the shuttle.
Who's he saying that to?
To the person who's in the shuttle.
Struck. Okay.
Yeah, I can detect that she landed with quite a thump. But yes, I'm keeping track of the situation as best I can from in here.
All right. Since
Okay.
I gotta look at the name again. Since Tiber, we got Timor and Tiber. Since
I know.
Tiber, the player, and accurately has stated that this is a combat situation, we're gonna now move into the combat, actual having combat turn orders.
Yeah.
So for those of you who, like I said before, that are new, Star Trek combat is a little bit more loosey goosey when it comes to rules. It's not as crunchy as other RPGs. There's such a thing as zones. Instead of just actual number of feet. So at this point, I would say he is probably in the medium zone, probably about to enter the close range zone. So, which means phasers are still usable and everything like that. The way Star Trek Adventures does combat is, as far as initiative goes, is all the players always go first unless they're like specifically ambushed, but you weren't. So the way I personally do it is I let whoever's in charge, the command officer, dictate who does what in what order before we even start, just so if there is any changes that need to be made, they could be made on the fly. But it seems reasonable to me that you guys would have prepared at least in some way for something like this before you guys left the runabout. So, Lieutenant Gelazani, who would you like to go first, and what would you like them to do?
So I would like to say that I would have given Tibor orders that if things go in a hostile direction to try to stun them. So I will have him go first.
All right.
Okay. Well, Tiber will follow these orders. However, he is going to do so in his own style, because he is worried about what will happen if the creature who's walking gets to the people who are a bit like starting to fail the rolls. Plus, I'm going to cite his impulsive flaw, as well as his at the point of greatest danger value. No, I'm not using the determination. I'm just saying this is the sort of thing that he'd do.
Yeah.
Which is, rather than fire his phaser from a distance, he will instead be using his ability to fly to close the entire distance.
Oh, nice.
In one go without having difficulties from terrain or getting attacks. That's what Aurelians can do.
That's awesome.
And engage the thing in melee immediately in an attempt to non-lethally restrain it.
Question. And I'm not at all doing this because I had an awesome idea, and I'm giving you the chance to have the same idea. But which enemy are you attacking as you're in the air?
Okay, so as he's in the air, he's heading for the one who he thinks is in control of the psychic shenanigans, which is the one I've just put him on top of, the one on the ground.
My idea was, because this guy was on the runabout and essentially no one could get to him, it would be cool if you attacked him. But that's cool. That's fine.
Oh, we could do both, but yes.
That would have been a cool, you just fly up there and tackle him off the runabout. Yeah, but no, it's cool. You can attack whoever you want. All right, so you're attacking him. So roll, because it's melee, it's going to be daring security.
Yep.
It's going to be opposed. All melee is opposed. So his.
Carry on.
No, I was just gonna say. I was gonna tell you what his stats are, but I don't need to. So go ahead.
I'm going to use my melee combat focus, obviously, and I'm also going to use the bold security talent to give you a point of threat and me an extra dice and the ability to reroll. And
Sorry,
here we go.
That one more time. I was having a
so, of course, he's got the bold security talent, which means that he can purchase with threat an extra dice, but he can re-roll because he has that talent.
All right.
So here we go. Ooh.
Not terrible, but
Is that a draw?
As you could see from his roll.
Oh, that's a whole old 4. Might as well use that free reroll I've got, just in case.
Yeah, you could get. I mean, you could get a pretty good roll with a reroll, but
I could get a 2. I could draw. But let's see.
oh, and
Nah.
oh, you reroll 1. I thought you rerolled the whole thing.
Oh, I thought you re-rolled a single one, but you know what?
What's
I
it
like your
say?
version better. I'll quickly reread the bold one. It's one of the ones from the
because they're
book.
pretty specific about it.
Mm-hmm. It's about page 150, I think.
Who is the third character who's outside of the shuttle with us?
Timor, your engineer.
Okay.
I mean, I have an ID. I mean, you can roll Insight Command or Insight Security, but to get the same kind of idea I have for Timor. But why is he out there? It's up to you what you want to do there.
I think I would have just noticed that he's out here, and I will wait to see what happens with the bird fight here.
Yeah. So it's being slow in telling me which turns, and then it takes you to page 135. It's taken me 150, 100, now 135. But I'll get there in just a sec.
Do you have in your taskbar the character generator, or do you have it accessible?
No, I can get it up. I can get it pretty easily.
So if you go there, it's like one click, maybe 2 clicks away.
Okay, so here we go. Page 135. And you buy 1 or more d20s for threat. You may re-roll a single d20. You may select this talent multiple times.
My fault. But yeah, that
so
makes more
that's
sense.
3 to 4.
So yeah, so you attack essentially, and he kind of just smacks you away like you're not even. Yeah, so you're like.
Yeah.
And now I get to roll.
Now you get to roll damage.
Dice. Let's see. Oh, yeah. What was it? It's 5, so it's 6 total. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 stress removed plus an effect. I'm gonna say the effect is knocked down, so you're basically on the ground, and also how much stress do you have left?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, so you security officers have a pretty decent amount of stress. So yeah, you're basically like knocked to the ground. You're like your wings are pinned under you for a second, but essentially he just wants you out of the way. Now it's the enemy's turn, and I've accidentally kind of already rolled for the enemy, so I'm gonna take that roll. I
have fulfilled the greatest tradition of the Starfleet security officer, which is
knocked aside.
Getting knocked aside to demonstrate how dangerous the foe is.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. So yeah, the guy up here, as this guy is continuing to move forward, just past you, the guy up here has directed his eyeballs at Timor. Timor, I need you to make a control medicine check, and you need to get 3 or higher. You guys have 2 momentum. You can also get me through it.
Can I give you 2 threat?
Sure, I'll take that. Alright, so you should have 4 dice to roll. This should be, well, I don't know what your medicine is. Oh, but you did good. So you can actually feel this guy rooting around in your mind as, like, when he looks into your mind, you can actually see yourself from his eyes. That's like how it's almost like a Vulcan mind meld from a distance. Go ahead.
Does the sensors detect that? When I mentioned that I was setting it up to detect psychic.
Yeah. So when it happens, because this is the first time that he specifically does it, the sensors detect it. It's not like a hard science where it's like, oh, I can detect, excuse me, this field or whatever. But it's more like, his neural energy has increased, and Timor's neural energy has decreased slightly. So you can kind of make an inference from that. But basically, but once he does that, Timor, you're able to kind of like deflect his mental abilities away from him. So now, who in the player characters wants to go?
I would like to, if at all possible.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I would like to electrify the whole of the Danube.
Nice. All right, so let me check something real quick. So that role is going to be relatively easy. It's going to be either a control engineering or a control science. The difficulty I'm going to say is 2 because if it was too easy, they'd do it all the time. And I'm going to spend 2 threat to increase the complication range to 3 because it would be really cool if you electrocuted a lot more people than who you intended. So yeah, whenever you're ready, I will have the ship assist. Edge, can you?
We have different definitions of really cool.
Edge, if you want to, or Mac, whoever wants to roll for the ship, it'll be control science or control engineering 1 dice with a complication range of 3. Sorry, I have to look something up. That's why I can't do it. So while he's rolling for that, these are what we're doing right now is combat tasks or major tasks, basically major actions. But there are something called minor actions, things like aim, drop prone, interact, move, stand, stuff like that. The good news is that you guys are pretty much already, besides like drawing your weapon, you guys are already, you've already been doing that kind of naturally. So like, for example, T-Bird did the flying thing, which was the moving, and stuff like that. But if there is anything else you want to do, like for example aiming, if you use your weapon, you can re-roll a single d20 made on your attack turn. So just let me know if there's any minor tasks that you want to do so that I can reference this little card I have here. All right. So
all right. So 2 successes.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I am gonna roll. I'm gonna roll for him to resist, not necessarily being electrocuted. He's gonna get electrocuted, but I would like him to resist the pain of it. So what would it be? I'm gonna say security. Let's see if he can resist the pain of it. Nah. And now I roll for damage, which we don't have an electrocuting stat, so I'm just rolling some random numbers of dice. Okay, well that's not bad. So with 3 stress removed from him, he also is dazed, fallen off on this side, kind of dazed, he's not unconscious, but like he's almost there. Whatever you did really hurt him. All right, so now it is my turn. I am going to roll as him. At this point, he's probably like 5 feet away from the command officer, and he is going to he's not going to use his weapon. He's actually just going to reach for him. Actually, let's see, 5 feet away. Yeah, he's going to use his weapon actually, because that's still a good, decent. He's not like within grappling range yet. So let's see, control. So 2 successes. So now I'm gonna roll. Let's see, 5 plus. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 stress. Yep. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. Let me recover, guard, attack. Yeah. Range, control, security. Okay. Yeah. All right. So where are you at on stress?
Ouch. I have 4 left.
Okay. Timor, since you're kind of out here, you haven't gone yet, right, Timor? Or have you? No, you haven't.
No.
You just resisted the other guy. So I'm going to let you go next. What do you want to do?
Can I try and tackle this dude?
You want to tackle him? He's like 10 feet away. All right, go ahead.
Yep.
So you're moving. So at medium range. So yeah, you can do that. That's not really a roll. I think normally you would make a roll, but you're just running over grass, so I don't see like if you failed that, then that's just horrible. But yeah, so a tackle that's going to be a melee. That's going to be daring, security, and it's going to be opposed. I mean, difficulty 1, but he's going to oppose it. So if he gets more than you do, he's pretty much just going to do the same thing he did to the Birdman. Actually, you know what? I know what he's going to do. Yeah, it's a way better idea. But yeah, roll whenever you're ready. Oh, he didn't get a good roll at all, so you have.
I'm gonna give you.
You're gonna give me more.
I'm gonna give you. Yeah, I'm gonna give you 2 more threat.
Thank you so much.
Oh no.
You know what? I'm gonna spend 2 threat. Never mind. You already rolled. Good news is you managed to kind of. What race is he? Is your character Bajorn or Trill?
Trill.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you try to tackle him for some reason, and I'm gonna need you to let's see. Let me see what your security stats are, because I think it's 1 plus. Okay, so yeah, I need you to roll 2 dice. Wait, why did you? I'm so confused why you're doing this. Roll 2 dice.
But to embarrass Tiber, the amateur is outdoing the pro.
That is true. With a total combined score of stats of 8, he has managed to get 2 successes.
This is Tiber's 17.
Although you have more threat than we know what to do with.
I've only got 6. Sometimes I have like 25 or 30, so y'all are actually not too bad.
Hey, there's 2.
That's a challenge. I need you to roll the 2 challenge dice for the damage, not the task dice. You act like you. I know we don't fight that much in this game, but you have to hit enter before you. Come on, Mac. You've been doing this for 5 years. Well, no, this is literally what happens. He runs over, tries to tackle him, and this man like takes a step back as he just runs into him and just face plants into his chest, and he just looks down like, really?
Yep.
All right, so that's what you're gonna do. This character is gonna bound across the field quicker than you guys have ever seen and just run away.
Didn't you say she was stunned?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was gonna have. Where'd it go? I mean, she's not like unconscious, but where is it? So yeah, she's basically crawling, like can barely, because yeah, the agility would definitely be affected by that. All right, so who's next?
I think it's me next, because I think everyone else is gone this
Okay.
round. So getting up off the ground, I imagine, is a minor action.
Yeah.
So the lieutenant does like a kip up, jumping himself off the ground.
Nice.
And points his phaser at this purple guy. We have 2 momentum, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend those.
Okay.
I'll spend both of those. And shoot at this guy. Or just one of them, sorry.
All right.
So that's 3. Now, do I do this using the weapon combat thing, or do I do the test first?
Do the task, so it'll be control security, and the difficulty is 2. He's not behind any cover or anything like that. So it's just 2. And then once you do that, then you'll roll damage, which will be the phaser at the bottom of the character sheet.
Well, I hit him.
You hit him. You don't have any? You know what? I have 6 threat. You know what? Go ahead and roll your phaser. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage plus 3 effects. So let me go to the character sheet. 1, 2. What was it? 6? Yeah.
6 with 3 effects. Yeah.
Okay, I think he's not even. Never mind. So the phaser that you're holding when you fire it, it actually, I'm gonna. I'm gonna flip a coin. Either it's going to overload for 1 round, or not overload, but like stop working for 1 round, or it's essentially going to become a bomb and you're gonna have to throw it away. It kind of fizzles and then stops working. But as you're looking at the little display screen on the tiny little phaser, you can see that it just needs a minute to recharge. Apparently, whoever stocked this back in the armory didn't do a good job of recharging it, so it needs a round to recharge.
Okay, but because I succeeded, Tibor is very inspired by this shot that I made. So he is actually, because of one of my talents, he is assisted by my command and presence on his next action.
Oh, nice. Remind me, because I will forget. All right. So that phaser.
I have a.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a solution as far as the phaser goes. It was purchased off of Ferengi.
Yep. So the phaser beam actually caused him to take a couple step back. It kind of, hit him against the chest and staggered him. But that just means he's now closer to Tibur. So he just looks over towards Tibur, and what he's going to do is he is going to make another attempt at controlling the nervous system. That's going to be a control medicine.
So does my assist happen here, or does it happen on Tibor's actual next action?
On Tibor's next action.
Okay.
The good news is he got a complication. The bad news is, the good news is he got a complication, and all Tibor needs is to get more than one.
Fantastic. Is it the normal 2 dice?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You could spend that last momentum if you want, or you can give me a threat.
I was going to give you a threat.
All right. Sounds good.
To roll 3 dice. Other than that, here we go. I needed it. I needed that third dice.
Threats.
Wow.
One on each side.
So, as you're kind of trying to recover, he basically looks at you, and you feel yourself fall back to the ground because that's what he did to you. The complication though. Yeah, I think what happens is you find yourself in your mind's eye living the life of this Vulcan before he was turned. For just a few, 2 seconds, he was a security officer just doing his job when all of a sudden a phaser blast from behind. He wasn't half Cardassian. He was a full Vulcan. And then he woke up as this abomination. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're back to normal. But the same thing happens to him. He takes another couple steps back, and he sees himself living your life just before you got on the runabout. And he's kind of confused for a second. And then he kind of twitches a little bit, and his nervous system starts acting up, especially around his neck and his shoulders, and he kind of cracks his neck and then looks around at you all like, okay, now what? All right, so who's next? I think that'd be Tibur, right?
I think it would be. And his reaction there, the fact that he appeared a little confused, but also the fact that Tibur was just in his shoes for a few moments, means that these are at least intelligent creatures, and they're all unwilling, which does some.
The unwilling part, it may be a stretch, but they are sentient. At least these two are sentient. And whatever the reasoning behind what they're doing, there's no malice. There's something else there.
And that is behind Tibur very definitely keeping things non-lethal for now. So having been batted aside like a mosquito rather than a great noble bird, would you say that he's incapable of getting back up into the air this round, given what occurred, or is he able to do that?
Oh no, he can.
Okay,
that'll be a minor action, but yeah, he can.
Oh yeah, minor action to get up into the air. I should have pointed out, it was my fault last time, that when he's airborne, he's considered to have the advantage, whatever that means, against all ground-based targets. That's just the wording of the talent.
So basically, the way I would do it is it would just reduce the difficulty. So if like let's say a humanoid ran at another, like Timur did, to kind of tackle him or go fisticuffs with him. Normally that would be an opposed difficulty 1. So for your character, it would be opposed difficulty 0. But like let's say he got 2 successes, you would need, instead of 2 successes, you would just need 1. Does that make
Fair
sense?
enough. That makes absolute sense.
Okay.
So, minor action, whoomph, up into the air, out of lunging distance, so he can't be meleeed anymore. So I think he'd go up to close. Then, I don't know how many minor actions you can do, but if possible,
You
take
can
the aim.
Spend momentum to do another minor action.
Not worth it at this point. In that case, he'll just fire as his major with his phaser on stun at this chappie.
All right.
And I will give you a
Control
threat.
All right. I'm up to 8. Yeah. Control security. Difficulty naturally 2. Oh, well. Now, when you said you had advantage, is that melee?
My help is no.
So the talent description is... Hang on, let me just look it
Or
up
is it
back up
any
for you.
attack?
Yeah, so characters with this talent are also considered to have the advantage when making an attack against ground-based targets.
So essentially, what you got there, you needed a 2. Really, you needed a 1 because of the advantage. So you have 1, 2. So you got 2 momentum. So you're up to 3 momentum. And you hit him square in the chest, and he staggers back another couple of feet. So now I need you to make the damage roll. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus the effects. Let's see where he's at health-wise. Because the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah. He is down. So, everyone who is... Actually, you know what? Nah. Everyone who's around him sees him go down just as the phaser beam hits, kind of staggers him a bit, and then he just collapses. His eyes remain open, but the green kind of glistening that you see kind of fades into like a normal humanoid-looking eyeballs. But they stay open. Like he's not like unconscious. He's just unable to activate motor functions at the moment.
Okay, but yeah, that's a minor and a standard. All
right.
done.
And as you guys see that, you also see this guy trying to crawl away.
Yeah, I will add, just as a little bit of flair, that when Tiba puts the guy down, he kind of down on the ground. It's like, stay down.
All right, so it looks like your enemies are at the very least, for the moment anyway, no longer a threat. So I'm gonna say you guys are out of combat unless something happens to put you back into combat. So what do y'all do next?
Am I able to speak now?
Oh yeah, once he went down, you're able to speak.
Okay. Just making sure.
Tiba, from his slightly elevated position, will point at the one who is crawling away and ask the CEO of the mission, "Do you want me to immobilize that one as well, or let it slink away?"
You should immobilize him.
Poosh! Phaser on stun from the sky.
All right, just do a control security as long as you don't fail. Basically, as long as you get 1 success, you're good.
Okay, no need to give you extra threat for this.
You say that, and then you'll 4 momentum. So yeah, you hit him square in the back, and he just slumps down.
Fantastic.
Do we have any medical stasis pods on the runabout?
You don't have stasis pods, but you do have like bio beds. I think you have like 2 bio beds.
Do we have the ability to keep these things unconscious in them?
Let me see. Oh,
other than by constantly stunning them.
You could. Oh, shit, wrong one.
No, I want them unconscious. I don't want them in a force field.
Oh.
Why not both?
Well, both is okay, but not just the force field. I don't think the force field would stop their psychotic powers.
That's a good point.
Can I
Psycho.
rig up something where it would like knock them out if they try to regain conscious?
Oh yeah. So that'd be a control, engineering, or science difficulty 2. In fact, you could just do like one of those things where, I mean, I don't know what they would be in the future, but modern day just have like an IV so that they just stay under the whole time, kind of like a medically
Yeah.
induced coma. And that's
So
like
wouldn't that
Yeah.
be control medicine?
control medicine. And if anyone wants to assist, they can use medicine or science.
I'm going to use my xenobiology to help out if I can.
Okay. Difficulties 1 on that one.
I am giving encouraging orders on how important it is to keep them unconscious.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Any other assists? Ed, you want to roll for the ship?
Okay. Would
Just
that be
computers, medicine, or
computers?
science? Science, I think, is a 2, so that might be better. Oof, no.
Yeah.
Nothing there. All right, so 2 momentum, so you're up to 6 momentum. And they are. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. They are inside the ship and out for right now. This guy, the Vulcan, this guy's eyes are completely closed, like typical unconscious. His eyes are open, but there's no like glistening green lights in his eyes anymore.
Tiba will make sure that there's a very close force field, as it were, around their bodies, so they can't get up and wander around inside an area. Yeah, if they were to wake up, they wouldn't be able to move their arm all the way up before they hit
Like
the
in a biobed in a restraint field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a roll or anything. But Petty Officer Biola says, "Would you like me to stay with them in case they do wake up and manage to wreck the ship?"
Well, I hope you do something before they wreck the ship if they wake up.
To be honest, sir, based on what I've seen, I don't know if that's possible, but I would do my best.
Well, at least call for help. Can somebody give me some medical attention, please?
I'd be happy to.
Yep, that'll be a control medicine difficulty 1. Unless he's resisting, then it's difficulty 2.
All right, I do have the triage focus.
Okay, yeah, focus. And didn't you have another focus?
Xenobiology.
I'm not human
Yeah.
or Vulcan.
And detail focused would work. Like
Yeah.
almost all of your focuses would work in this situation.
Did you have the combat medic talent as well?
Yes, I do.
What does that do again? I might look it up on the talent.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Give me a moment.
MMM. Medicine. C. Oh no, wait. It's not in medicine. That's weird. It might be in general.
Yeah, it's the one that's a general.
Okay.
Um,
Nope, don't see it there either. Maybe in security.
Whenever the character attempts the first aid task, they may spend 1 momentum to cause the recipient to regain points of stress equal to the number of the character's medicine discipline.
All right, then yeah, I'd be willing to do that.
Cool.
So that would be 4 points of stress.
Okay, I'm much less injured.
Tiba will be right behind and ask for similar treatment, but if treatment is limited, he'd volunteer himself to be the lower priority.
All right, then I'm going to try to attend to his wounds next.
Okay.
And so I guess same basic roll.
Yep.
Okay, success with 4 stress removed.
We're down to 4 momentum then, right?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just as y'all doing that, I am looking for something.
Basically, my character will go, what if we use the force field to turn it into a stone setting?
Well, they're already out for right now. So I mean,
And
Okay.
I've
that
rigged
would
up
be-
something to make sure they stay out.
yeah, that'd be kind of overkill. But I mean, if you want to do that,
Tiba will say something. I'm sure it's perfectly possible, but he'll say something along the lines of, "I think we had some safety training about subjecting creatures to constant stun drop."
Mac just wants to hurt
there's
people.
regulations in the Uniform Code of Conduct about modifying force fields to injure people.
Mac just wants to hurt people.
Out of
No,
curiosity, could I hook the ship's power cell up to their snorkelies?
Up to their what?
Their genitals.
Oh no!
Oh my
you
word,
can't.
no.
You cannot do that.
That is most definitely against the Uniform Code of Conduct.
yeah,
And for reasons my character knows about that.
All
The
right.
Uniform Code of Conduct, not electrocuting people.
Right. Maybe both. So what are y'all doing next?
I guess we should make our way up to the lab.
Indeed. Do you think it would be best, and again he turns to the seer, if I accompany you on the ground, or keep and he does air quotes because he knows what he's about to say, bird's eye view on the situation, but perhaps draw a bit more attention that way?
You do seem to be much more effective in the air.
Okay. Well, in that case, he'll nod his understanding and whoosh, go up above the canopy. But once he's that high up, before he loses visual, before these people leave the clearing, bearing in mind the ion storm, he'll tap his communicator and check it works across that distance and that he hasn't fallen out of contact.
Yeah. As long as you're, because the storm is still in the upper atmosphere, so as long as you're below it, you're good.
Cool.
Yeah, don't fly out of the atmosphere.
All right. So are y'all heading into the woods?
Sure of a big surprise.
What's the order? Who's going first?
I am in the lead.
And then Timor and Strzok, who's taking up the rear?
Maybe I can, or Tibor, either way.
I can take up the rear.
Okay. And then whatchamacallit is staying on the ship. So, and then of course Tibor is up in the air. All right, so you enter this jungle. It's really, really dense, really dark. There's massive like mushrooms, and there's massive vines. Some of the vines seem to be moving, but then when you like study them, they're no longer moving. There's all kinds of bugs that you hear. There's a couple of the times you guys might see a snake slithering on the ground. But I need everyone to make an insight security check to see if your perception picks up anything a bit more dangerous.
Okay, and I'll cite my talent again.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Which talent was that?
Constantly watching.
Oh, right. All right. And what did you... Oh, wow. Okay, so only Tibor noticed. The difficulty was... Well, the total difficulty was 5, but... Strzok, you notice that there's a lot of the smaller mushrooms seem to be putting off spores, and they seem to be getting on your uniform as you're brushing past, because like I said, it was a dense forest. So that'd be up to Strzok to determine if that's an issue or not. But as for Tibor, difficulty 5 is reduced to a 4, but you get most of the information. You, from the bird's eye view of being above the canopy, there is a large, and I say large, but I'm not talking about large like the Gornosaur. I'm talking about large like humanoid size creature moving around in the trees, both on the ground and also in the foliage in the trees above. As far as you could tell, there only seems to be one, but it also looks like it's stalking them.
Yeah, okay. So Tiba will tap his comm badge and alert them to this single large humanoid that appears to be moving, I'm guessing quite quickly from your description.
About the speed they're moving. I mean, it's a dense rainforest essentially. So you can tell when it gets in the trees, it moves a lot faster.
That was my thought. Yeah. There's this large humanoid that is stalking. Actually, I'll do it in character. Sorry, I do apologize. I'm just looking at something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Tiber to Zani, that you are being stalked by a single large humanoid creature that moves largely in the canopy but also on the ground. It appears to be adapted to the canopy and moves faster when above you.
Thank you, Mr. Tibor. And I'll sort of turn towards where I think it would be in the canopy and shout to it to come out and show itself.
Yeah, Tiber will give them, I don't know the actual answer, but Tiber will give them a 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock from your position kind of thing.
When you shout, the trees rustle a bit, but you don't hear or see anything for as long as you stand there looking for whatever it is. As far as you can tell, it's either gone or being really, really still.
While they're doing that, I'm going to try to analyze the spores.
Okay. Control medicine, or actually reason medicine, difficulty 1.
Okay, so
Nice.
one more momentum.
And that puts you up to what, 7?
I believe so, yeah.
So when I was yelling at it, was it within smell range of me?
Potentially, but only airborne up there would probably notice if it was or not. Is that something Tiber would be? I'm assuming that's something Tiber would, depending on the range and the distance, that's something Tiber would want to know.
Yeah, I think the main difficulty would be, I don't know if he was told in advance, my smell is effective out to 20 meters, 40 meters, 30 meters.
But,
so he doesn't know what the
yeah, and I think
is.
that's probably also the issue I'm having as a GM. I don't know what that would be, but I'm assuming if it's pheromones, it's whatever would be realistic for a species to be able to interact without causing mass chaos. If it was citywide, I think then we'd have an issue. So I'm assuming it's
I was just trying to ask whether it should be I should have been trying to make a persuade test on it.
No, I'll let you know. At this point in time, from above, after he yells, you see it descend from one of the trees and then move further away.
Okay.
As for the spores, and you can spend momentum to ask questions if you want, they seem to have a mild hallucinogenic effect on humanoids, but it's nothing that can't be either treated or just controlled by the individual. It's you might see something here and there out of the corner of your eye, but it's not like a major make you go crazy and run into the hills naked kind of thing.
Is there any way to administer some kind of a drug to fight the effect?
Yeah. That would be a control or insight medicine to kind of replicate that anti-hallucinogen. The difficulty would be 2, and then just inject it with a hypospray, and you're good.
All right. Would xenobiology or detail focused apply here?
I said detail focus probably does.
2 successes. So you said
right.
Difficulty was 2?
Yep. So you managed to get the hypospray, do the little hand against the bottom to insert the cartridge, and then you just are able to hypospray everyone, except for the bird flying above, but he probably doesn't have any issues with the spores since he's above it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then that's my goal achieved.
Unless the whole situation with this tree creature was a hallucination.
You never
dun, dun,
know. All right, so what's next?
I see no reason why not to press on by the shortest possible route to our target.
I'll continue making my way through the jungle here, vaguely cautiously, but somewhat brashly, towards the science lab.
All right. So
I'm gonna keep scanning the area, making sure there's no like pitfalls or anything like that coming up.
all right, do a reason science difficulty 1, and everyone else can either do um, insight security. Oh no, not insight security. Control security as you're moving through heavy brush, or control con to kind of do the survival aspect of like moving through a dense forest without injuring yourself or others. The difficulty
Does
is just 1.
does Tiba have to make that roll at all?
No, you're good.
All right, I got 3 successes on my scanning.
All right, so what I say, difficulty 1.
I believe so. Yes.
Yep. So
So 2.
you're at full momentum, and you have an extra one. So I would use that one to ask a question. So you're actually not detecting anything that's going to sneak up on you as far as like pitfalls or things like that as you're making your way up to this bluff. However, about halfway there, probably like because it's a dense forest, it takes an hour to walk through what would normally take 5 minutes, but about halfway there, which is probably about 3 hours, you do detect a rather large ravine. It's about 6 feet wide, and it basically goes from all the way to this valley of the mountain, all the way to the end over here. So from right to left, you're going to have to cross that to get to the bluff, which then you're going to have to climb the cliff face to get to.
Thank goodness we came across that, because I haven't used the replicator to make a meal in hours. I'm ravenous.
As a side note, Tiba is loving the fact that he can fly.
I know, right?
So,
I should have thought of that. I was like, man, then again, I also, you could also say I made this just for Tifa. Like this is the one module that he would enjoy.
Maybe he can carry us all across and up the cliff.
This was-
One
this
at a
was-
time.
I don't know if that would work.
my thinking wasn't quite that bold, but we'll study to head in that direction. Which is, you said that this thing is, how wide is it at the narrowest point that Tiba can see?
It's 6 feet.
6 feet. Okay, that's what I thought.
And there's
That's,
plenty of like trees and stuff if you guys want to like bend a tree over to cross it and things like that.
Yeah, I was about to say that's jumpable, but let's try and bridge it.
As for the bonus momentum, does anyone have a question that they want to actually with does anyone have a question that they just want to ask just generally about the environment that the tricorder would be able to pick up?
I think if the tricorder could pick it up, I'm going to try to analyze as to ways in this jungle that we might be able to detect other people coming through, like snapping twigs, but I doubt there's any twigs here.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of trees, so yeah, you have twigs and things, but the main issue is your tricorder would be able to pick up, as far as you know anyway, your tricorder would be able to pick up any humanoids or even any large animals before your eyes or your ears would, unless you have some kind of hyper scent or hyper sight like the bird up there or something like that. But no, your tricorder's not picking up anything larger than, I don't know, a small cat, as far as animals go at the moment.
Okay.
All right. So that my question really didn't avail much, but anyone else?
Can't immediately think of one. It's bonus momentum, so it's no great loss, particularly one that's tricorder related.
Out of curiosity, can we burn momentum to get rid of threat?
No.
Oh man, that would have been a good use of it, because your threat is high.
I only have 8.
Well, doesn't make.
Yes, you have equal threat to our momentum.
Just cancel it all out.
Yeah, hopefully, or even if it's 2 to 1.
Nah.
I just don't like you being that threatening.
Well, all GMs are threatening whether they have threat or not, but that's a different
Yeah.
All right, so I guess you guys press on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've all sort of started to note, the ones on the ground have started to notice that there's a definite pungent muskiness emanating from Lieutenant Gelazolani.
It's probably
Zani.
that from everybody. It's probably some of that, musk coming from everybody. Being in a rainforest with heavy uniforms and such.
It's like, oh, God, I didn't bring my machete.
All right, so you guys eventually do come across the ravine. How do you guys want to proceed across?
Well, Tiba is tempted just to be very smug, but he won't, and would instead flop down and point to a sturdy, good old looking tree, and suggest that perhaps we just cut that with the phaser and attempt to form a bridge of some description, just to be safer.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Could I find one of the more sturdy trees, with my scanner?
Yeah. That'd be a difficulty 0 roll. You can roll. I mean, you already have plenty of momentum, but if you wanted to roll it just for the hell of it, you could. But you don't need to roll to find a decent sized tree.
Okay. But yeah, I'm not interested in any fish. You said just for the halibut?
Oh my word! With that in mind, or whilst the team are doing that, Tiba will whoosh up into the sky again and remain particularly vigilant in case the sound of falling trees attracts the creatures.
Okay. Yeah. So control security to shoot the phaser. It's I'm just gonna say difficulty 1. You're literally shooting a tree. It can't dodge. It can't put up armor. It can't block. It's just a tree. So difficulty 1.
Is this me?
Whoever wants to do it. As long as you don't get a complication and have a tree fall on you, then you're good.
Yeah, or shoot herself in the face.
Ricochet hit the bird in the air.
I forgot to mention, guys, I do have the designated decoy talent, which allows me to absorb any incoming attacks at my face.
Okay, then. That must be one of them homebrew talents.
Message for you, sir.
All right, so you cut the tree down. You lay it down across 6 feet of the ravine. So this is going to be a difficulty 2 to cross it. No complication range. If you just tried to jump, I'd increase the complication range, but you're crossing it, so it's difficulty 2. You're just crossing a tree. Shouldn't be,
Difficulty 2 of what roll?
Just say control and security or con.
All right. Eesh.
Whoa, complication. There's plenty of momentum.
Yeah, let's burn 2 of it.
Is this was there anyone else that has to walk across? And before they do, I want to know, is this a precarious situation?
Well, the difficulty 2 makes it a somewhat precarious because it's a tree that's across a ravine. So if you slip off the tree, you will fall into the ravine. But other than that, it's not, it's not like you're being.
So
attacked.
because I succeeded, I could, if I spend a momentum, let somebody be assisted on their way across with my command and presence.
Okay, yeah, do that. That sounds good. And do y'all want to get rid of that complication?
Who wants my assistance?
I'd probably need it because I only got 1 success and it's diff 2.
And Mac, are you gonna roll?
Yep. I'm gonna use 2 momentum to roll 2 dice.
All right.
And there is the assistance to
Nice.
Strock to get him across the log.
So you guys have 4 momentum. Am I reading that right? Yeah, 4 momentum
Yes.
left. Do you want to use 2 to get rid of that complication for Hama?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So 2 momentum.
We don't need our engineer falling in the in the ravine or the bridge falling into the ravine so we can't get back.
All right. Yep, that's definitely something that could have happened. So yeah, as you're coming across though, Birdman, you see the
Mhm.
trees begin to rustle as you finally make out what has been stalking them. A rather large feline leaping from tree limb to tree limb. It's probably not that large. Um, it's probably if a human lied down on his back, this thing would be twice the length of. It's about 12 feet long, as it's once again crossing the tree, the canopies, leaping from tree limb to tree limb, and then it finally lands on the ground, and it's running towards them through the bushes.
Okay, I'm assuming that this is on the far side, not the side that they're crossing toward.
Yeah, it's on the side that they came from.
Yeah, okay. And is there any sort of clear area between the tree line and the ravine, or does the tree line go right up to the ravine edge?
Yeah, it goes right up to it.
Okay. Tiba will... and has the whole party successfully crossed by this point?
Yes.
Okay. Tiba will... Bird versus cat! This is how it was supposed to be. Tiba will remain aerial. He'll have his phaser out and set on stun. Although that may be moot, considering the potential. He will, however, alert the team to the approach and recommend that someone that's not him destroy the log. It'll probably be able to leap the ravine, but it might deter it.
I mean,
I think Tiber's gone loony. I think Tiber's gone Looney Tunes on us.
The cat is twice the size of the ravine's width, so jumping it, it would literally just have to step across, essentially.
It would walk. Oh, okay. Yeah. I realized it was big. It was that big. Fine.
Mr. Strock, can you get Tiber down here to administer that anti-hallucinogenic to him?
He's on the other side of the ravine right now. I'll let him fly over here and we can give him the anti-hallucinogen then. I don't think it would make much of a difference at this point.
At that point, you hear a loud roar, and you see the trees begin to part as the cat leaps through them. Now, at this point, probably about 60 feet away from you.
Phaser on stun. This is a wild cat careening towards the party.
I just want to point something out. You're above a canopy of a rainforest, firing a igniting phaser beam into a very obviously ignitable foliage at a cat you can barely see.
So is this something that is liable to ignite? Okay, in that case, Tibo will come down to a slightly lower level.
You'll have to get below the canopy to get any kind of decent aim. Below, a difficulty 5.
Yep, which is, in theory, where he can get Tibo, but that's fine. So Tiba will come down to sort of just below canopy level, but on the far side of the ravine, so there's definitely a break of trees between him and it.
Okay.
Even if it's only 6 foot of it. And he'll be in a position to take a shot when it presents itself. And then if it still manages to leap across, well, we'll cross that ravine when it comes.
All right. Well,
I'll crouch into behind a stump as well and try to aim for the thing coming out of the trees.
Okay. Whoever wants to fire can all fire at the same time for all I care.
I'm actually gonna. I've got the careful aim focus, so I'm gonna hold off and let them fire first, and whichever way it jumps is where I'm gonna fire at.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'll use the aim minor action as well, which I think gives me an extra dice.
So, question for Tiber: how close to the ravine are you gonna? Are you firing at it as it leaps over it, or before? Like, how close is to this ravine? Because I want to know if you get a complicate. I just want to know the trajectory of everything.
I would say when it reaches the edge of the tree line.
Okay, so basically, as its paw is lifting up to leap over the ravine.
Yeah.
Okay. Or leap, more like run, because it's probably not going to even slow it down.
Best case scenario, although maybe worst case, considering it is still a creature, it just tumbles into the ravine.
Yeah, definitely not in a highly evolved cation, not at
all. This is why we use stun. But okay, so aim I think gives me an extra dice.
That's not going to help if it falls down the ravine.
I can save it. Anyway, so I think aim gives me an extra dice to take it Up to 3. I think that's what aim does.
No, it re-rolls your d20. So you re-roll. Let's see. Re-roll a single d20 on an attack.
Okay, and I'm in the air, so I have the advantage. So it's difficulty 1.
Well,
I'm not gonna.
Here's the thing, though. You'll have to spend a momentum because you're doing 2 minor actions. You're moving down to closer range, and you're trying to aim. So
I'll drop the aim then. Drop the aim.
Okay.
And fire. I'm not going to use momentum because we've only got 2.
Yeah. Ooh, you missed. At least you didn't get a complication though. So I'm gonna need a fire from, or a shot from. Ooh, another miss.
Yeah, so this would trigger me.
I was aiming though, so I can re-roll one of them.
Okay. Yep.
Nope.
And likewise, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot.
Right.
You said control security, is that right?
Yep. And basically, yeah, the phaser beams are crossing over it and below it and around it, and he's just dodging it, and he's about to leap over the ravine.
Ooh.
Ooh, you hit it. You hit it square, like as it's about to land. Because I mean, it's just running. It's not really leaping over the ravine. But as its paws hit the ground on your side, you hit it just square in the front of its chest, and it just sends it reeling backwards.
And I'm going to use my aim to to re-roll that complication.
A good idea. Yep.
So how would I do that? Just task roll 1 die?
Yep, exactly. All right.
All right, that's better.
And you guys get
so that gives
momentum.
us 1 momentum.
Yep.
Sure.
So I'm going to need you to roll the damage dice. Do not do that. I don't remember if you did it yet.
Not great, but
1, 2, 3. Well, the good news is you got 5 stress removed, so it causes it to, basically be injured. So it basically kind of slumps over in pain. It doesn't like fall into the. If you had kept that complication, it would have went down the ravine. But it kind of like a third of its rear end is in the ravine, and it's like scrambling to get itself back up out of the ravine. But then after that, it's like too weak to move anymore, so it just slumps over with like a burn scorch in its chest, breathing really heavily.
That's fair. We don't need to punish it any further.
Are you sure?
Hasn't actually hurt us yet.
Hey, to hell with the prime directive. I want to kill something. Okay.
All right. So now what?
I think we should head onwards before this thing decides that it's in danger and tries to attack us.
As you said, it does that sad cat roar, like. Roar!
Oh, so it may attract its family. So based on that, and based on the fact that, well, yes, but also Tiba would like to use I don't know what it would be, but his survival focus to prompt a slightly circuitous route, that might throw a tracker, just in case there is something stalking the party.
Okay. Do insight security difficulty 2.
Okay. Focus is applicable.
Actually, you know what? Difficulty 3, considering the kinds of creatures that are attacking you, is a little bit harder. If it was just the cats, it'd be one thing, but it's not.
Yeah, we're going up against genetically modified creatures.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a point of threat to roll the 3rd dice with bold security.
Funny you say that, because I need you to increase the complication range to 5.
Curse my hubris! But here we go.
Oh, nice!
Mm-hmm.
And I said difficulty 3, right? Yeah, so yeah, you guys are back up to the momentum of 3. Which I shouldn't even typed it because it was already there. But yeah, basically move you guys back to this one since that's
that generates point of momentum, so we should be at 4.
Well, no, because you used the momentum, didn't you?
I used threat.
Oh, you gave me threat. That's right. You're right. So you're at 4.
Yep.
Sorry, I brain farted for a second. But yeah, so basically you're the ravine's here, and you look down and you're like, okay, we can easily just, because originally your plan was like, let's just go up like the side so that we don't have to climb a steep ass cliff. But then you're like, well, if we get to the cliff first, then we can just climb up and maybe go around the other side, and that would be a lot better for not being tracked by creatures. So yeah, you guys are easily able to do that. Well, not easily, but you guys are able to do that. But I am gonna still need a fitness security to kind of finish that mountain hike. Difficulty is 2 from everybody,
From all of us?
yep, except for the
Let,
birdie.
let, let me do it first in case I can help someone.
And you got 4 momentum.
I did not make it up the cliff.
No, you did not.
Can
just
someone
thinking-
help me a little here?
Yeah, I don't know how Tiba would assist you, but if possible, he would. Could he be like fly
Then
behind?
I mean, you could just come down and physically help him.
Yeah, like put his claws on the shoulder of the weakest climber and sort of like guide him up a bit.
Sure.
Can,
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
can I give you a true threat?
Sure. Ooh, wow.
Why do you keep giving him threat? Good grief.
It's just like beautiful to see all those zeros. Usually I'm not like usually I want y'all to succeed, but it's just funny sometimes.
So that's Tiba helping.
Okay. Well, now you
I
need
believe.
to, since you're on the ground now, you need to actually roll a fitness security.
Oh, he can't like fly behind them and just like push them
No,
up.
and even
No,
if
okay,
you could,
that's fine.
the foliage is way too dense for flying.
Oh,
that low.
okay, fair enough.
Like
I'm
the foliage is on the cliff face. Like yeah, it's not like just sheer rock. It's forest everywhere.
Is survival an applicable focus here?
Yes.
All right.
All right. So yeah, you two are good. So I just need Struck, and I also need Hammer to not fall off a cliff and die.
Out of curiosity, I have the value slow and steady wins the race, so I'm going to proceed very slowly on this one.
Okay. Do you want to use the value to use a determination, which will give you an automatic 2 successes, or are you just saying that for flavor?
Well, I'm not sure how values work in
Okay.
that regard.
So slow and steady wins the race. So basically, determination is like a D&D version. It'd be like the daily for a D&D. It's like you can use it once unless like the GM dictates otherwise. But basically, you would use your 1 determination and call upon slow and steady wins the race, and that would give you an automatic critical success, which is 2 successes. And then you would roll, and then you would just add whatever those successes onto those 2 successes.
All right, then yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use it.
Okay.
So that's an additional, so that gives us momentum. Is that right?
What was the difficulty? 2, right? So that'd give you momentum. So you put you up to 5 momentum. And now someone has to keep Hammer from falling off a cliff face. And it can't be Birdman because he's already
Can I
assisted.
shout some useful advice based on my now successful climb?
Yes, do that. President's command. One dice. That would be helpful. Maybe Hammer just didn't grab the right rock face or the right outcropping.
I've inspired her.
Yep. All right. So Hammer, you're able to climb up. And yeah, you guys get to the top of the cliff. Move you back here so you can see it. And yeah, you're basically like at the door. So yeah, the door is not going to open for you. So might need an engineer. Otherwise, what do you do?
What is this, a laboratory for ants?
Basically, he's gonna try.
I can try to rewire the panels, try to open it.
You got a decent enough engineer.
All right, so it's going to be control or reason engineering. And if Struck wants to assist, he can use science
I
All
was
right,
gonna
I'll
say,
assist.
I was gonna say I was gonna rewire the doors to open.
Yeah, go ahead. It'll be difficulty 2 though.
Well, there's one for you.
All right, so you got 3, so you're up to 6 momentum. And the doors open, um, but they open about a foot and then they stop, and then you can see like the interior of the base is almost black as far as light. There's almost no light. The only light is basically the red, flashing lights on the top of the ceiling, telling you, red alert or whatever. As you're looking in, you can see things are strewn about. There's a lot of broken glass everywhere. You see unknown fluids marked unknown sample just lying on the ground in vials and vases and things of that nature. Like it looks like something, ransacked the place. So yeah, how do you proceed?
Mask on.
What?
You remember when we were talking about the hazmat stuff and Tiba
Uh,
just grabbed the mask
yeah.
and like nothing else? Yeah, so mask on at this point. Do we have those? I think they were used prolifically on Voyager. Those sort of like twin flashlight wrist mount thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys brought all your equipment that you would normally bring.
I'm going to try to analyze the vials on the floor, see if I can get like a sample size or something like that.
All right. Are you gonna try to use your tricorder, or are you gonna go and pick it up, or how are you analyzing it?
Well, tricorder first, and then
Okay.
if then so long as it's still sealed, I'm going to pick it up and use it as evidence against the people who are running this facility.
All right. So reason science difficulty is 1. You're just scanning it. It's not, the most difficult thing in the world to do with a tricorder. Oh, nice. So you're up to full momentum, which you might need it. So yeah, you detect a lot of it is kind of like, just saline water. A lot of it is like dyed water. A lot of it is really useless and really harmless stuff. There is a couple of things that have been marked, or there are a couple of things that the tricorder is telling you are viral samples, but again, it's like animal viruses. The tricorder doesn't determine that there are any danger to humanoids. Um, Besides that, yeah, mostly it's just a lot of and there's a bit of plant materials, so probably some fungi and things like that, but there isn't anything that your tricorder can pick up telling you that there's anything harmful going on.
Well, specifically, I'm looking for deoxyribonucleic acid amongst any of these vials.
The stuff that's on the floor, there is no DNA on the floor. It's all viral samples and things of that nature.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna leave these alone then, but I'm gonna continue looking for that as we proceed.
okay. If you guys, I have to use the bathroom, so give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. So, stupid headset. I gotta turn on the light too. It's getting dark in here. All right. So what do y'all? Is there any other information that Strzok would want or need at this point in time?
No, I've declared what I'm going to be looking for. I'm just going to be cautious, keeping my eye on the tricorder.
Are you still keeping a sample of the virus, or are you strictly looking for genetic material?
I'm thinking that just keeping a sample of the virus isn't going to help us in
Right.
any report to the Federation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just look for DNA equipment or samples.
Okay. Yeah, because as far as anyone knows, this is a genetic and virus research lab, so finding stuff like that would be normal. It just depends on what you find. Like if you found a biological weapon or something like that, then it would be worth it. But just finding a virus, or even if it was a DNA sample of a human, that might not be enough. So, but anyway, is Mr. Gelazani, since you're the commanding officer, what are your orders to proceed besides the looking for DNA thing?
So as he comes in, he's sort of I don't know if he knows exactly what he's doing because that's sort of the theme behind this character, but he is sort of announcing for whoever's in there to stand down, that they're here to investigate their crimes under Federation genetic manipulation laws.
Ooh, interesting.
Gone from rescue crew to prosecution.
Let's see here. I'm gonna move you over here. So this map is not obviously exact. I would say the general layout is kind of what the place looks like, but as far as the entrances and things like that, not so much. I'm gonna put the commanding officer where the actual front door is, which is, let's see, I'm gonna say at the top corner over here. So basically, this is the front door where you guys are entering. Um, if you have a question about where another door is, or about where windows are, or even corridors or anything like that, just let me know and I'll clarify. Unfortunately, there is no official um, Xerxes station map that I am aware of, so I just had to grab something. But so yeah, you guys enter here. This is kind of where you found the broken glass and the vials and things like that. And you made that announcement. You make an insight security check to see if you hear anything or see anything in this dimly lit area. Difficulty is going to be 2.
All of us?
Everyone, yep.
Yep.
Unless you have constantly watching, in which case difficulty is 1. Wow, struck. Nice. Oh, nice. Alright, so what about Mac? So difficult. Do you have constantly watching, Hama? I don't think you do. You're an engineer.
No.
Okay. So I
Seems like this place is abandoned.
yeah. So that's 1, 2. So you have 2 bonus momentum. So if you have 2 questions, you can ask them. But I will give you the basic information what you notice. Strzok and Tiber Dunn. First of all, you both hear somebody or something is moving rapidly. First in a room, knocking some things over, and then out into a corridor. No one else hears or sees anything, and you only hear this because of where it's located. You don't see anything; you only hear it.
It's dark and all. Can we tell from the amount of movement if it's just one person or multiple?
There's 2 people that you can tell. One of them is not moving a whole lot, but making some noise, and the other is actively trying to escape.
Right. And you say it's from the corridor.
It's somewhere beyond this area. You don't know exactly where.
Okay. Well, I've asked one question. I can't immediately think of another one.
I've got another one.
Mhm.
I'm going to try to use my tricorder since I was focusing on that to get a lay of the land and try to specify where the noise is coming from, whether they're together or one person is evading the other.
Okay. Do a reason science. I'll say the normal difficulty would be 2, but since you're using that bonus momentum, I'll reduce it down to 1. You still got to
Oh,
roll 2
wait,
dice.
sorry. All right, 2 successes.
So that gives you another bonus momentum. So that's a good. So whenever I give you the information with the tricorder, you can use that bonus momentum again to ask a question. You're detecting. Actually, let me look it up before I say that. You're detecting one Vorta, and the other one is, as far as you can tell by your tricorder, a human. However, its DNA structure is corrupted and degrading. The Vorta is the one moving rapidly, and the human is the one kind of struggling in some sort of fashion in a room, in a laboratory.
Post-Dominion War, is it common for Vorta to just be existing inside the Federation, or are they still generally limited to Dominion?
Since this is another universe and not my universe, not my campaign universe, we can say either or.
Okay.
I would say that just generally seeing a Vorta out and about, it's not super rare, but it's not exactly common.
Okay, and it's gotten to the point where seeing a Vorta doesn't mean you work for the Dominion. There are now independent Vorta.
Yeah, I mean the Dominion's still a thing. It's just now they're, because of the whole Odo thing. They're less. They're not trying to instill their own order on other cultures in the Alpha Quadrant. So if there's a Vorta in the Alpha Quadrant, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to get a foothold.
Well, not necessarily that, but they've been released. It's not a case of every single Vorta is a Dominion government employee.
Right.
That they're released to be private people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing about the law regarding clones and if they're people and all that shit. But essentially, Vorta doesn't necessarily mean works for the Dominion.
Okay. And was there a Vorta on the roster of people that work at this station?
There was. Kevin 3. He was the lead scientist. Probably should have led with that. Sorry, I was down a rabbit hole in my own mind about the Vorta.
Okay. The additional information, I would like to triangulate where the individual that is captive is located.
As far as your tricorder is telling you, it would be in this general area. So basically, you'd have to come down this corridor, take a left, and then go down past this corridor, or actually, you'd go down this corridor and then enter this door.
Okay, but Tiba is going to recommend to the team that I should probably be in front, and whilst we should move towards this potentially captive person, we should make sure that we don't leave any unexplored or unopened doors behind us from which things may emerge.
There are captives? I thought the place was abandoned.
There is one person who seems not to be moving. Captive or still, we don't know. And another one running at quite some speed.
Based off my readings, it looks like he's captive, trying to escape.
Well, we should proceed with some caution, I suppose.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hyper-vigilantly going to be going down this corridor. I'll just go to the end of the corridor.
Okay. Once you get there, your eyes and ears don't pick up anything unusual besides what you've already detected. You see on this door there is a sign that says security office.
That's his favorite place. But other than the fact that it is his favorite place, he's going to wait for the team to be behind him, and then he's going to attempt to open the door that way and have a look into the room, just to make sure there's nothing amiss.
All right, roll inside security. And
All
since
right.
it is a slightly narrow door, you're probably the only one that's going to be able to do that.
Absolutely fine.
I'm going to be looking around while he's opening the door, just keeping an eye out.
All right, you both can roll inside security then. Whoever wants to roll for their general area, but because you're in a narrow corridor, you're not going to get much. You're basically only going to get certain information that only your character would know.
Question for the GM, because it's a very broadly worded focus. Would survival be an appropriate focus here or not?
Are you trying to survive?
Well, yeah, but that's so broad.
Look, there's a reason why composure and perception and computers are focuses. It's because they're useful in most situations. So yeah,
Okay.
survival would definitely work. Wow. When you roll good, you roll good. But when you roll bad, it's like the world is ending.
Yep. Oh, no in between. And plus, of course, the usual reduction.
So I'll start with the ones. So Arid and Struck. Besides the typical darkness, you can in the distance you hear movement, but you're not really sure where it's coming from. If you didn't have that tricorder, you wouldn't be able to tell who it is or what they're doing. You just know that somebody is moving in some room down the hall. As far as the three, yeah.
Mr. Dunn, there's something moving in here with us.
Well, not in there with you. Like it's quite far away. But as far as Mr.
That's
Dunn,
still what I'm going to say.
Okay. As far as you're looking around in the security room, I mean, this is a science lab, so its weapons cabinet is like 3 phasers, and two of them are like destroyed, and one of them is missing, which is probably the one that one guy had. But the rest of the room it looks. I don't want to. It almost looks like it's blackened, kind of like the walls are charred.
Like there's a fire.
Yeah, but you don't see where the fire started from. So if there was a fire, whatever the source of it is no longer in this room.
Okay. Well, that's good. That means there's nothing likely to be in there that's going to leap out at us. So he'll note that and gently close the door again. And then he's going to recommend that the team have a look in here before we go down the corridor.
Wait, look in where? In here?
Yeah,
in there?
Yeah. That.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a science library, just a bunch of data pads and books. Nothing really useful. Probably where they stored all their information.
Alrighty. Well, yes, unless anybody has an alternative plan, Tiba Dunn will continue to go down the corridor, checking each door as they go past it.
Okay. This room, as you open the door, looks to be some kind of cryogenic chamber, probably where they store their genetic material. The room across from it is another lab with a bunch of viral vials and containers and things like that.
Okay.
I'm going to pay particular attention to the DNA lab.
Okay, so do you enter it?
I'm going to scan it for DNA samples that, like I said originally.
All right, so yeah, do reason, science, or medicine, either one. I'll say difficulty is 2. And I'm actually increasing the complication range to 4. Let me
Good grief.
reduce the, let's see, 7, 6, 5.
And I'm going to burn a momentum to work on that. Would my knowledge of xenobiology help out?
Yes, although I can't tell you why yet.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Ooh. I forgot to add the
Yeah.
momentum that I spent.
just roll 1 and that'll add to it. Oh,
Eesh.
and I said difficulty was 2, right? Or did I say
Yeah,
2?
so I succeeded. It's
but there's
just
a
that
major complication. Well, the thing is you guys have, let's see, 8 momentum. So if you want to get rid of all that, you can.
I think the complications from sensor readings may not be worth consuming 4 momentum.
I would say maybe buy off
2
one of them.
momentum.
Yeah, maybe buy off
Okay.
one of them.
All right. So, as you kind of scan the room, you're detecting multiple DNA samples of multiple species, including, mostly Federation species, but there are a few Gamma Quadrant and even Delta Quadrant species in this area, in this laboratory. However, you are detecting two stasis chambers that are just like up against the wall, up and down. Both of them are occupied. Inside one, you are detecting a Vorta, and inside the other, your scanner seems to glitch a little bit. Like it's a half human, half Klingon, but then it says it's a Nausicaan, then it says it's all three. You're not really sure. However, the one with the human Klingon Nausicaan or whatever, the stasis pod, is suddenly deactivated and slightly opens.
All right. I warned the guys and like prepare. This may be this may get sticky.
So
I'd say
I will move into the room.
Okay.
And I will loudly proclaim,
Don't kill us or eat us.
greetings. It's important that you remain very, very calm.
I'm gonna try to reinforce the door, like if it tries to get out.
Okay.
Oh,
That
that's
looks
a
wonderful in the room.
Control engineering difficulty 1, and you want to lock yourselves in this room with this thing. That's what you just said?
No, I said I'm waiting outside the room.
Okay.
Don't you dare lock the CO inside.
Well, someone said they wanted to reinforce the door, so I'm trying to figure out in what order they want to do
Reinforce
that.
as in protect, not reinforce
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. But I'm going to scan for xenomorphs.
Well, the thing is, the door opens halfway, but this creature does not step out. Its eyes remain closed.
I'm going to try to do a remote neural scan using the tricorder, see if there's any activity in the brain.
All right. Reason medicine, difficulty 1. Or you can just spend a momentum and I'll tell you.
Well, do we still have that momentum from earlier when I did the scan?
No. Usually, even if you don't use it, when the scene passes, it's gone. But I think you guys used it.
Yeah, okay. Should I use a momentum, guys, or just do the scan? I'm thinking the scan should work.
Yeah, I'd recommend the roll. It's low difficulty and you might generate momentum.
Nice.
Good grief. Back up to 8 momentum.
Yep. So, yeah, it's coming out of stasis, like its brain functions are starting to, and what you're detecting with the tricorder is that its brain functions, certain parts of its brain have been enhanced, while others have been essentially lobotomized. Mainly its reason and insight.
So its higher functions are negated, while its lower functions have been enhanced.
Essentially, this is an animal that's probably going to attack the first thing it sees.
Well, I'm not in the room. I have an idea, but I'm not in the room.
I mean, you're in the corridor. It's like 2 feet away.
So I don't know any of this, so I'm going to run across the room and try to shut the stasis pod.
Yeah.
All right. That's not really a roll required. You run and you close the stasis pod, and then it reactivates and it puts him back to sleep.
All right. Can I go in then and try to get as many scans from the stasis pod as possible? Because it would probably have better information since it's been scanning for quite some time.
Yep. Reason, science, difficulty, or I'll say reason, science, or medicine, I guess, since it can do either one. Difficulty 1. All right.
Okay, 1.
So yeah, you determine with probably relative ease that this half human, half Klingon has been injected with Nausicaan DNA and been turned into essentially a killing machine Nausicaan, and you're not really sure. And the half human, half Klingon was, according to the manifest of the station, one of the security officers. But as far as you can tell, This happened probably a day ago. So this whatever happened didn't happen too long ago to this station.
Is the Vorta
Okay.
in the other stasis pod Kevin 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Tiba will.
who asked that first of all? Is it the commander?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's the
okay.
commander.
As you looking at rubbing your hand on the glass and looking through the frost, yes, it looks like Kevin. If there's a scan done, which I'm going to include with this scan that was just done, I'm going to say that it's more like Kevin 3.5. He also has been messed with genetically.
Tiba will ask, call into the room almost, because his attention is still down the corridor in case more people come. Now that you've closed the thing, are you able to lock them or weld them without killing the occupants immediately?
At this point, I'm more concerned about making sure that the pod stays active. So I'm going to try to trace any flows of electricity and such, make sure that there's no complications that might arise later on.
Okay.
Can I use my con skill to try to lock the pod?
Well, the pod's pretty much locked. It's just you close the door and it's locked. It's not like But if you want to do an insight engineering check, then an insight engineering check, then I can tell you basically all the power issues that it's having. I can basically give you all the information you need about the stasis pods themselves.
If you guys don't mind, I don't have a good roll on this, so I'm going to burn a momentum.
You have a chief
Can our engineer look at this?
Yeah,
You got an engineer.
Lieutenant Hammer, can you come and take a look at these pods?
Yes, I can.
Don't hurt him, Hammer.
All right, insight engineering difficulty. I think I said 1.
And I use 2 momentum.
To buy dice?
Yeah.
For a 1 difficulty roll?
I mean, normally I wouldn't mind, but the information you're going to get is going to be really underwhelming.
Okay, I'll just roll.
Okay. I mean, if you get no, okay, there you go. I was gonna say if you don't get anything, then I'll be like, okay, I'll give you something. But so yeah, you have 2 bonus momentum. So essentially, the glitch in the tricorder is what caused the stasis pod to kind of receive a code that it basically thought that there was somebody trying to activate it, so it opened the pod door. But now that it's been shut and closed,
glare at Mr. Struck.
now that everything has been reset, essentially the pods will stay closed as long as nobody essentially comes in the room and tries to mess with them. Do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
So is the Kevin that's in the pod the Kevin that was on the roster or a different Kevin?
Kevin 3, yes, is on the roster. And he is the lead scientist on this base, so he was the one in charge. What he's doing in the stasis pod, who knows?
I've got a question as well, so we don't lose any momentum. Is it possible to beam these stasis pods onto the ship and have them continue operation?
I mean, it'd be a little difficult, but it wouldn't be impossible.
Mm. So right. they've kind of got like a temporary local battery, as it were, that can.
The thing is, the difficulty would be 2 just if everything was normal, because you're beaming. You have a transporter pad on the runabout, so it would have somewhere to go to, and you even have a transporter pad in the base. The problem is the ion storm is going to affect its transport and increase the difficulty to 3. So it just depends on what how much you really want to get it over there.
Even though we're planet side and both the teleport destination and location are going to be outside of the ion storm.
Yeah, and it's not outside of the ion storm. So basically, the ion storm is currently in orbit, so it's affecting things. It's just not affecting things as badly as if it was, descended into the atmosphere. So basically, the ion storm is still going to affect transport and communications. It's just not going to be as bad as if, and it's also getting closer. It's also moving closer, towards the planet and things like that. So essentially, it's just above the planet, if that makes any sense.
Well, Hammer, can you rig these things to be transported? I have a feeling that we may need these for evidence.
Yeah, I can transport. rig them to get transported?
So the
All right.
transporter pad is here. So if you want to go there and just, control engineering difficulty 3, I'm going to increase the configuration range to 3. And yeah, you can.
But as people start getting into this, Tiva's just going to like raise a slightly clawed hand
The
and
commander has
say,
a question too.
like, to try and pause everybody. Go. They are locked. They have their power functioning for now, and I think we're going to need people who are far more medically qualified with far more equipment than we have with us to deal with this in the longer term. Why are
We need to do this
Jesus.
right now.
Why are we risking moving them? Why don't we just leave them?
We're leaving them for now. Once we depart, we may take them with us. I want it to be arranged so that they can be teleported with us, not necessarily teleport them immediately.
Okay, yeah, it'll be. Obviously, it depends where you guys are when you transport them, but if you go to the transporter pad here, then a difficulty 3, or if you do it from your runabout, it'd be a difficulty 3. But yeah, it's possible.
I was thinking from the runabout.
Okay, yep.
And I was thinking maybe we should wait until the ion storm passes.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably
yeah.
have another 8 hours till that happens.
Yeah, I'm not saying wait in this room until the ion storm happens. Wait to transport them until the ion. We're not in any serious rush to get out of here, and there is, I believe you told me, another Vorta in here moving around.
Yep.
All right, then we've got this place secured. Let's proceed on, I guess.
Up into the dormitories, it looks like.
Yep.
This is where I detected the struggling.
Yep.
I'd recommend being cautious.
Tiba is ready to be jumped.
Alright, so it doesn't require any kind of roll or anything, but as you get in the corner, strapped to a biobed with a full-on force field around it and everything, is a humanoid creature kind of struggling. Does anyone want to make any rolls?
I'm going to try to analyze it.
Alright.
I want to talk to it.
Alright, one's going to be a reason science or medicine, and one's going to be a presence command.
Tiba, he suspects there's not going to be anything, but he's checking all of the other shadows in the corners of the room.
Insight security. Alright, so this creature is human, or at least it started human, but you are detecting, as soon as I can look through my notes, you are detecting some sort of morphogenic substance in its body. I guess the closest thing would be like, changeling DNA. And it's struggling to get out.
Can I identify the particular code of the DNA and record it on the tricorder? Because whatever this stuff is, I have a feeling that it's going to be used in the persecution of these, or prosecution, sorry, not persecution, of these creatures.
You can tell by the scan that this genetic material, this foreign genetic material that's in this human's body that is kind of facilitating this, well, not facilitating, but at least a part of this change that this human has undergone, has come directly from the Great Link of the Changeling homeworld, or the Changeling new homeworld, since they moved.
All right, Kafka, prepare for metamorphosis.
Let's go to Edgeford. You don't notice nothing. Do you want to get rid of that complication?
We've got 8 momentum. Yeah, okay, getting rid of the complications probably wise.
And you wanted to speak to it.
Yes. Do I know which one of the people this was, /is?
He is where you can see the tattered remains. His civilian outfit is kind of like a brown clothing, but has kind of like almost like gray kind of coveralls. So and you see the Federation Corps of Engineers symbol on the side. So this is probably the engineer that was stationed here.
What was the engineer's name? Did I know that?
I mean, I didn't give it to you guys, and nobody asked, so as far as
Okay,
I know, no.
so I won't go with that. So we're here to help you. We need you to remain calm so we can make you safe again.
He's still struggling, and as he looks over, you could tell he hears you, but whether or not he understands, you're not really sure. But you roll me a insight command, difficulty 1, just to get a general idea of this creature's emotional state. Ooh, do you want to get rid of that complication with a get with 2 momentum?
Yes, please. I don't want this person to die.
Well, this isn't about its death. It's just about understanding it, understanding the creature itself. You actually think, just based on the utter sadness and pain in his eyes, he wants to die. He's struggling because he's trying to reach for a laser scalpel that's probably about a foot away from him, and
I'll move the laser scalpel away from him.
when you do that, tears start to stream down his face, and he's just lying there in the bio bed, looking up at you and shaking his head. And you could tell he doesn't really understand what you're saying or doing, but he understands that you're trying to keep him from doing what he wants to do, and he's trying to tell you with head nods and movements that the pain is just too much, and he doesn't want to go through it anymore.
Mr. Strzok, can you give this creature person some pain medication?
That's exactly what I was going to do. I'd like to give him something with a pretty strong analgesic effect.
Okay. That'll be control medicine. Difficulty. I'll say difficulty 1 since he is struggling. I'm actually going to roll for him to attempt to resist that. Wrong. There we go. And
I'm going to tell him we're not here to hurt you. Please calm down.
yep, you managed to inject it into him, and although the pain, you could tell just based on looking at him that the pain is slowly and gradually, and it's beginning to subside. The sadness in his eyes is he's just continuously staring up at now you, Struck, and you can hear him moaning and small guttural sounds coming from his throat as he attempts to speak but can't, and he just continues to lie there staring up at you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, now that I've got a sample of the changeling type DNA, I'm going to see if there's any way to revert the effect of the metamorphosis.
I thought you scanned it. You didn't take a sample, did you?
Well, I've got the thing on my tricorder
Oh,
saying
okay.
what the DNA chain and such. I didn't actually take anything from them.
Okay, and you wanted to basically come up with like a cure essentially for that part of it.
At least something that would pause the metamorphosis, if not actually revert it.
Okay. Roll reason medicine difficulty 3. And this
All
isn't
right.
necessarily for that specific, but this will give you a lot more information to work with.
Okay. I was thinking about burning a momentum. Is that all right?
Yeah, it takes us to 3. That's still fine.
Okay. And I'm going to use, does my triage or xenobiology help with this?
Yeah, either one of those would work.
Nice.
Nice. So you get back up to 4 momentum. So you think that the as you're looking at your tricorder, it tells you that this whatever's going on with this poor engineer is not just the morphogenic genetic material. There has been something else introduced into this creature's body along with it. You think that the morphogenic DNA is what's causing the change in the DNA and the cells and the neural patterns and everything. But you think it's being carried by some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Microscopic.
Nanite?
It's not a machine nanite. It's more like a biological, kind of like a microbe, so to speak. Something extremely small, biological, and basically carries this morphogenic DNA through the body and begins changing things on a cellular and DNA level. And apparently, this experiment did not go very well.
Lieutenant Hammer.
I take it this is kind of like an mRNA effect. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not a scientist. This is all technobabble to me. So you can, however, as far as like coming up with a cure, I know the difficulty and I know things like that. But as far as like the actual science behind it, that's definitely not.
Okay. Yeah, I know just enough about medicine to make me dangerous. So
I know even less, so I'm probably more dangerous. But yeah, no, it's like I said, it's as. Do you have any specific like tasks or questions that you want to do with this creature at this moment?
I have a question about the creature for Lieutenant Hammer. Lieutenant Hammer, if we could find this person's original genetic scan, could you use the transporter to separate out the changeling DNA and material?
Yeah. You give me the right DNA strain.
Yep, transporters can apparently do that.
Yeah. Separate the two DNA strands from each other, yes.
Let's see.
Is the biobed mobile?
Not usually. I mean, if you spend a momentum, you can make it mobile.
Also, is there a functional, because I know a lot of the power's out, a functional computer interface with which we might be able to access the patient's original medical records so we can get the master DNA?
That might be a good first step before I try to move the biobed.
Yeah.
I'm also going to see if there's anything I can do to help put him in stasis beyond just the detecting the morphogenic effect. I want him to remain calm.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just taking notes because we're going to end here in a minute. All right, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and come to an end here. This, I guess, will be a two-parter. Is everyone okay with the same time next Saturday, or do you want a different day?
That should be perfectly fine for me.
I'm good with that.
That's fine for me. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That should be fine.
Okay. So yeah, let me just finish